Oh, wow. What a day.
Our role is to help ensure everyone can express themselves without anyone getting hurt. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety's role through the Minnesota State Patrol is to ensure safety, protect constitutional rights, keep roads accessible, and above all, to prevent harm. Our top priority is public safety. Our focus is keeping demonstrators, community members, drivers, and law enforcement safe, especially during moments of heightened tension or uncertainty. Demonstrations must remain safe and lawful, particularly around roadways. We will join with our partners to support safety while respecting the right to protest. With that in mind, I'd like to share a few safe and lawful ways to demonstrate. Minnesotans can safely and legally express their views in many ways, including getting together peacefully with others in public spaces, marching or walking, not on roadways, making your voice heard through chants, speeches, and displaying signs, being present in public areas where pedestrians are allowed, gathering in designated or permitted areas, and these actions will allow people to express themselves while protecting the safety of everyone involved. Unsafe or illegal actions could result in fines or arrests. Certain behaviors create serious hazards that threaten public safety, disrupt emergency services, or put people at risk. These actions could result in fines or arrest. Demonstrating on or entering a freeway on foot, walking on highways, throwing objects, starting or setting fires, damaging property or graffiti, using illegal fireworks, displaying or using illegal weapons, reckless or dangerous driving, especially near pedestrians, and certainly assaultive, aggressive, or riotous behavior toward anyone. We all want definitive answers to what happened today. Our Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is working in conjunction with the FBI to investigate this morning's shooting. As you know, we don't comment on active investigations, but also keep in mind that this is an investigation is also in its infancy. So any speculation about what had happened would be just that. And we will not engage in speculation. With that, I will turn it back over to the governor. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. We'd be glad to take any questions.
Did Wall speak at all before this?
I can let General Schaefer talk about this. It so happens it's a training weekend. We've got about 7,500 troops in training at our sites, training sites across the state. What it is, and in the National Guard, you give a warning order, which is a heads up of something could be coming. That just allows people to think about what they would need, what it would mean to mobilize, what it would mean to put them in. And,
he did not speak earlier.
The General talk a little bit about this. Never mind. Obviously, since the summer of
wait, directly before this, he did speak earlier.
Work done on
starting right.
We can't give.
Oh, he did.
Public.
Thank you, Sean Y., who says someone likely lost all. Walls has to say.
Good afternoon. Today I'm joined by Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson, Colonel Schaefer of the Minnesota National Guard, and Colonel 0EWta9KCU5Y of the Minnesota State Patrol. This morning we learned that an ICE officer shot and killed someone in Minneapolis. My deepest condolences to the family, to the loved ones who had to learn about this tragic event on national television. We've been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that. What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV, and today that recklessness cost someone their life. I've reached out to Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, and I'm waiting to hear back. Let me be clear. Donald Trump and his administration may not care much about Minnesota. That's been pretty evident, but we love this state. We won't let them tear us apart. We'll not turn against each other. To Minnesotans, I say this. I feel your anger. I'm angry. They want a show. We can't give it to them. We cannot. If you protest and express your First Amendment rights, please do so peacefully, as you always do. We can't give them what they want. The hearts and minds of the people in this state are on our side. To Americans, I ask you this. Please stand with Minneapolis. To Minnesotans, know that our administration is going to stop at nothing to seek accountability and justice. The State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are working on the investigation. We have activated the State Emergency Operations Center. State Patrol and Minnesota National Guard leadership is connected with the Minneapolis Police Department, the St. Paul Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the DNR, and Minnesota's Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We have activated dozens of members of the State Patrol's mobile response team. And from here on, I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Christie.
When you retire, can you do consulting for all of these people's fucking audio setups? No, because apparently I was arrogant and stupid when I said that a lot of professionals suck at it. So don't worry, they're all perfect.
You know, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. Now I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Bob Jacobson of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
Thank you, Governor. As the Governor mentioned, my name is Bob Jacobson. It is my honor to serve as the Commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. First of all, I want to acknowledge the reason that we are all here. The loss of life is not anything anyone would ever want. We fully expect that the community will want to peacefully demonstrate their anger or frustration. Minnesota residents and visitors have the right to peacefully demonstrate. We recognize that demonstrations are often driven by strong emotions, beliefs, and
What, do we know yet what the original stop was for? Like why all the videos start like with the car just kind of like pulling out. We don't know. Like there's one world where it's justified. And the only world is like if this person had like just done a shooting or just committed a crime, or you thought this was like if they were like a violent felon that was fleeing like for some violent warrant or something, like you would have justification to shoot a person like that trying to flee. Like if you thought they just like murdered somebody, but I mean like nothing here. It looks even remotely indicative of that. If you love Hutch, don't watch his take. How can Hutch be on the wrong side of this?
This morning, I was just getting up and I heard a bunch of commotion and whistling outside, and then I heard bang, 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 3 shots. I went to go look out the window, and it looked like there was a Honda over there that crashed, and I found out it was an observer that got shot and killed, and I saw them carry it. I got a bunch of video of them carrying the body to the ambulance and stuff. So there's an observer that got shot at an ice raid of the house next door. So.
I'm sure that was...
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood!
What the fuck? Dude, what the fuck?
For what?
I mean, like, it's kind of crazy to just have federal officers just murdering citizens in their cars for, I don't know what the fuck is happening. I mean, it seems a little bit, I don't know, it seems a little bit crazy to me. Maybe a little bit, seems a little bit wacky and wild. I don't even know I don't know what perk this guy is running to take out his gun so fast to just roll up and kill somebody basically instantly, but... Like, they must have already identified her and wanted her to make an arrest. because she's trying to wave them through and they're saying no. So they want to get out and arrest her. I just don't know what was leading up to this. But I seriously doubt, again, unless they saw her committing like a violent crime or thought she had like a weapon or was going to commit a violent crime. Like... Where does this guy come from? I feel like this guy just like phases into reality. Jesus. Was this the guy? Was he in that SUV? I can't view blue sky bullshit because it's fucking whatever age gated, so don't link me that retarded shit. Wait, isn't this the same thing I literally just watched? This is. This is the other angle that right-wingers use to try to prove it was self-defense. Jesus. Isn't this like crazy against protocol as well? Like shooting through the car with people standing behind it is putting people in danger. No, not really. For cops can just shoot at fucking anything, bro. You gotta reprogram your brain when you're dealing with there's like 4 rules to handling a firearm. If you're like an ordinary human being or if you're in the military, but for cops, it's just fucking spray and pray, baby. Spray and pray. What do you think of the odds of them getting off on this are? I have no clue. Because now it's a very odd situation because I imagine Minnesota would want to be the state that would charge them in whatever district this is. But Trump and the federal government obviously wouldn't want them charged. It's state charges. The state would have the right to arrest them, I think. I don't actually know. I don't know what the procedure is for arresting. I don't even know what laws are at play there. My guess is going to be there's a lot of weird interactions here that probably are ordinarily never brought up before. Like you can't arrest a cop for a crime who does something in the commission of his job unless he's so far outside of bounds, which is going to be up to some level of interpretation, of course. Like Derek Chauvin got charged, obviously. But here it's not up to just the prosecutor to decide. Here it's a conflict of jurisdiction as well, right? Because it's federal and state. I have no idea I don't even know how this would proceed or what this would look like. I don't know how it works in the US, but shooting at a fleeing suspect is beyond the pale. No. There are good reasons and times where you want to shoot at a fleeing suspect. Typically, it's if they're fleeing from committing a violent crime, or if there's a reason to believe this person is like armed and dangerous, right? If some dude, is suspected of killing a few people in a house and he's running out and he's trying to escape, it's understandable and acceptable to shoot this person as they're fleeing. But for things like fleeing like a parking ticket or whatever, you don't typically open fire on shit like that, or less than like misdemeanor crimes. I don't think so. Quick Asmongold take on this. Oh boy.
Wow. And then he shoots her. Gotcha, bitch. And then he shoots her a couple more times to finish her off. Yep. It's just a completely 100% justified. Absolutely rip fucking bozo. Anybody watching this clip, and again, you think about if you're the police officer, you hear the engine revving, you hear the wheels spinning, and the car is going directly.
I think this was like 8 months ago, or I don't know how many months. Oh yeah, this was 8 months ago.
Even see him, he's not. You can even see him. He's not really would defend Trump executing U.S. citizens for arbitrary reasons if he started doing it. And so this is just basically Destiny creates a false narrative. He creates a hypothetical situation.
We're not creating a false narrative, though. The whole impetus for this clip was you saying that, of course, Donald Trump rescinded the tariffs because it was a great negotiating tactic a day after you had said that the tariffs were really good. That's the joke. The joke is that you guys will defend literally contrary positions from one day to the next because there's no other way to defend the incoherent actions of this administration.
And that didn't happen, hasn't happened, and probably won't happen.
It hasn't happened yet, but if we get to that part, you'll defend it because all of the things in the past that I said would happen have happened. The administration has gotten more unhinged. When they did start deporting people, you did fucking defend it. When they went after the rule of law and they started weaponizing the DOJ, you did say it was okay. When they said that they might deport citizens who are felons, who did I just listen to defend this day? I think this was off stream. It was somebody on Pisco's stream where some guy was like, yeah, if there are U.S. citizens that are felons, maybe we should deport them. This guy on one of Pisco's streams, I don't know, maybe Asmon has defended that. He would in the future. Garrett fucking did. The whole joke is that there's no line with you guys. You will defend anything. And you've demonstrated that up to this point. Anything that the administration does, you'll defend or say it's an epic meme.
In order to justify acting insane, right? He's
acting insane, by the way, is saying mean jokes online. Like, you've become the woke leftist now, but I understand it now, right? Because being mean and all of that has nothing to do with being mean. It's just an expression of who's in control at that particular moment in time. Who has the power, I guess, right? And in Asmongold's audience's eyes, like, he has the power right here. He can dictate who you can be mean to and who you can't be mean to. And so that's where I guess this comes from.
He's just made up this
whatever, I guess. I don't know.
What other people are saying, you should be glad you're not banned. So the fact is, and eventually he will pop off because I think that Destiny has become increasingly more.
Keep in mind, wait.
More unhinged. And also before I go, he will pop off because I think that Destiny has become increasingly more unhinged. And also before I go into this anymore, no, of course I would not support Trump assassinating and killing people for random reasons. Like
oh, hold that right there. Oh, well, he kind of qualified it for random reasons, right? Because they'll always make up a reason. But hold it here. We'll see in 6 months if Trump is still around and you started killing people yet. What the excuse he gives to 180 on this is
random arbitrary reason.
This whole thing of Asmongold covering me, saying that I'm unhinged, had to do that firefighter thing, by the way, 8 months ago. That's what the whole country and world and all the death threats and the SWATs and the doxings and everything else that happened to me was because I think of that joke I made. Or I don't know if it was a joke. I don't even know what people were mad at. And here we are now. Kind of crazy, huh? Pretty weird. Kind of weird.
Trying to call this, I can't with these people trying to call this a murder and all that shit. Well, hey, maybe they shouldn't be in front of the car. The thing is that you're never going to convince these people that it's not, okay? Like, it doesn't matter. The only thing you have to do is crush them. You crush them completely. You never go, like, after you say, basically after you run one of them over, right? Or you shoot one of them for trying to run you over, then you victory lap around it and you send in more people and you do it even more. That's the only solution. That you're never going to win these people over. You're never going to explain it to them. You're never going to be like, oh, well, why won't you see my point of view? Because they don't want to. Why not just shoot the tires? So that way you make the car unsafe.
Who was I? What did I say again to get permanently banned from this platform for my extremist rhetoric? What was it again?
And some other innocent bystander can get hurt indiscriminately because the person didn't follow the law. Nah, bro, you shoot them right in the fucking face. They said to stop the car. They said not to do this. They said to get out. And she's walking around, driving around. What are you talking about? Absolutely not. You shoot them right in the fucking head. That's it. Aim for the legs. Yeah, bro. Aim for the legs. Oh, my God. Some of these people not thinking about this at all, bro. In a vehicle, from what I saw, I mean, barely, maybe. He barely got away. And, yeah, he pulled the gun on her and he shot her. Yeah, the thing is, like, how is it even that close? Like, even if you think that, like, that's what happened, what are you talking about? They told her to get out of the car. She almost ran him over. Are you going to expect somebody to make, you know, a decision like that in 1/10 of a second whenever somebody's, like, actively basically trying to run him over?
Really?
If somebody did this to an average person and they shot him, I'd say rep bozo. The fact is, this is just what happens.
Was that what happened?
They told her to get out of the car. Did she get out of the car? No, she didn't. She did something that, I mean, I looked at it. It seemed like to me that, yeah, it's somebody trying to run over a police officer, number one.
Okay.
And number two, she disobeyed a direct order. And who knows what somebody like that is going to do. And this is a big issue that a lot of people don't understand, is that they don't understand the butterfly effect of allowing a person who is a criminal like that to just escape away in a speeding vehicle after immediately trying to run over a police officer. You don't know if that person's going to run somebody else over, if they're going to lose control of the car, if they're going to go and do this somewhere else, etc. Right?
What was I arguing with ReKata about before? It's so crazy. All of these people who hated cops, hated the police, loved their First Amendment rights, thought that the government was too strong. They're such cocksucks for everything having to do with this administration. First, whether she's trying to run over the officer or not isn't relevant to the analysis. Second, even if she is running away, she's fleeing at high speed in a community and becomes a danger to the community. I didn't know you could get assassinated for speeding. Are there signs in Minnesota that say that? Cops might snipe? Is that a thing in Minnesota? It might be. I've only been to Minneapolis a couple of times. I don't remember seeing those signs there. Maybe it is. Third, back to the analysis. Is the officer who fired reasonably in fear of serious bodily harm? You can't put yourself in the way of serious bodily harm and then use that as a justification for self-defense. That's not that legally. That doesn't even work. It's a Honda Pilot on a wet street. How fast is she going? Is this Ford v Ferrari? What the fuck is happening out here? Sorry. Okay. The same people will tell you Ashley Babbitt climbing through a window towards politicians at the front of an angry mob that's chanting about hanging the vice president, that she was innocently killed or she died an innocent person. Meanwhile, this woman needed to be taken out.
Oh, he's mad. You know what? This is what I said. I think you have to go in. You have to invoke the Insurrection Act. You have to crush these people. You put them in jail. You put them up on charges for sedition, treason, everything that you possibly can. And then you put them as like an accomplice for like any sort of like... anything that you can throw at them, you do it. You totally crucify these people, and you make it to where their lives will no longer be the same ever again. That's the goal. Because what these people are doing, and by the way, this isn't me being bloodthirsty or extreme or...
Oh, okay.
or aggressive. And let me explain the reason why. What these people are doing is they are incentivizing violence, aggression, people breaking the law, illegal immigration, and every type of bad behavior that comes out of that. That's fundamentally what happens, is that these people are creating chaos.
So if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you.
Governor Ron DeSantis there cracking down on potential non-peaceful protests. In a podcast earlier this week, the governor told Florida drivers that they can hit protesters if they need to, quote, flee for their safety. NBC6's political reporter Steve Litz explains the governor's stern warning.
The violence and protests in California prompted Florida's governor to go on the Rubin Report podcast with this message.
If you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you.
Ron DeSantis with a warning in advance of tomorrow's anti-Trump No Kings rallies.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Hundreds are planned nationwide.
Just protesters. That's who you can run over, guys.
You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them.
Wait, hold on, I'm getting baited. Who linked this? I'm banning you. I'm perma-banning you. This isn't about the thing today. This must be about another thing. This can't possibly be about today. Right? This is a earlier thing? Is the weather appropriate? What is this? This can't possibly be about today. There's no shot.
You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers. You asked
I've just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. Did he even get ran over? Like, was his foot or whatever? Did anything even happen at all? The situation is being studied in its entirety, but the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. They are just trying to do the job of making America safe. We need to stand by and protect our law enforcement officers from this radical left movement of violence and hate. Wait, this isn't the shooting cop, is it? Oh no, there it is. Okay. Man, he looks so threatened right there. Wait, is he? He's already completely out of the way before he even shoots. It looks like? He was 99% out of the way. No, I think he was 100% out of the way. Or like his feet were. I don't think he was... Like, keep in mind too, I think it's like the video's a little deceptive in that it might kind of look like, because it's like dark and the wheel is like black, maybe she's like heading in this direction, but this wheel is like fully turned to the right. Like, this car is going like in the other, like is moving in that direction. Like, it's not even close. Jesus. What info do they have on this person? Did a single shot go through the windshield? Or were all of them through the driver's side? There's a bullet hole in the front windshield. Oh, so we have one bullet hole in the front windshield. But he's like leaning over for it. You can see it here. Oh, it doesn't even... Yeah, like, by the time he shoots, he's, like, leaning over the fucking car to do it.
That seems to be like really difficult to imagine that he thought that. Now, like, you tell me what you think, but
yeah,
you know,
that's right.
Human beings, there's like latency. There's like, you know, we make decisions and it takes us a second to actually act on those decisions. Do you think he's going to be able to convince a jury that even though he was clear of the car, like technically he made the decision when she was still kind of, because there is a moment where he is like right in front of her car and she starts to move forward. And I assume a police officer in that spot would probably tell a jury, at that point, I decided that my life was in danger. But then we'd slow it down, and it's like 4.5 seconds from the time she starts moving forward to the first shot. I mean, that seems like that's kind of a long time, you know. So that seems like quite a delayed fuse. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
No, I think that you have the right instinct to be like, well, I don't agree with a lot of other stuff that's kind of tangential to the issue. And I would like everything you said, I think I agree with, which is you shouldn't back up. You shouldn't you should like comply, right? Which is kind of our take. Like, I don't have a problem with you saying that. And then, yeah, I think your vision of what occurred when the first shot took place, that he was cleared from being in the path of it when the first shot was taken. That's my interpretation, regardless of whether there is a contact.
Wait, as in like the first shot was justified?
With the car at a low speed,
no,
bumping into him as she's turning to the right. I mean, that to me is not indication that someone's life is in serious risk of, or they're in serious risk of serious bodily injury. So yeah, I think our factual interpretation is similar. Even putting that aside, it's not just a subjective inquiry. You don't just ask, did I actually think my life was in danger?
It's what a reasonable person thinks.
See, is there an objectively reasonable consideration that your life was in peril? That's the question. It's not just a subjective test. It's also objective. And so regardless of whether he subjectively thought his life was in danger, we analyze it from the perspective of an objectively reasonable officer. And it is kind of like breaking down in a timeline the different events and what an objectively reasonable officer would have apprehended at each particular point in time. And so I think that with respect to what a jury will find, who the fuck knows, if there actually is a charge, maybe we can consider it then. If I were on the jury, given the facts I have now, I would be like, it's so clear that his life isn't in danger, that he's not at risk of any.
This is the correct law take. I've never heard the word objective used that way. Like the reasonable person standard is an objective standard. Maybe it is, if multiple subjectivities, or I don't know. my understanding of the reasonable person standard is like if a reasonable person would have thought that their life would have been in danger or they would have been at risk of serious bodily harm, that's the standard you use. Objectively, I don't think it matters whether or not it is or isn't. It's whether or not a reasonable person would have thought that. But maybe that's what objective means. I don't know. I mean, I guess both aspects of that matter, but it doesn't matter. Like, if I walk up to a person with an empty gun, objectively, there is zero threat to their life. They can never be killed. Well, I guess unless I start beating them with a gun, right? But if I point the gun at somebody and I shoot, you're never doing an objective analysis of like, well, was their life actually in danger? That's just never happening. It doesn't matter. It's like the reasonable person standard. But also, I also think the reasonable standard here probably also changes with respect to the fact that they're cops as well, right? So I'm sure they have some elevated duty or responsibility to not, in some cases, they're putting themselves in more danger. In other cases, they should be avoiding it. Destiny, it's how I was taught in law school that the reasonable person test is an objective one. Okay, it might be. Because subjective maybe just implies like your personal feelings and objective is more appealing to like an external test. Maybe, it might be. You're acting in bad faith when you watch the video of the shooting. You are clearly and obviously looking at the first ICE agent and ignoring the second agent in the background in front of the car and in potential danger. Potential danger is not a good reason to execute somebody, buddy. Should a cop avoid stepping in front of a vehicle of someone they plan on detaining or arresting? I mean, I would say so, yeah. Unless this person is like under suspicion of having committed a violent crime or something. Or is fleeing after having committed, or is like at large or, not at large, is like armed and dangerous. Was the officer put in the hospital at all, or? Should each gunshot be justified independently? Not in that quickly of a succession. If the first shot is justified, then the next two are almost certainly justified. The car is a deadly weapon? Yeah, so is my dick.
Shame! 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 Shame!
Did he just say call 911? Shouldn't they do that?
Shame! 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 Shame!
Pisco said each needs individual justification. I mean, like, my guess is going to be like by the book or in theory, maybe. But like the way that it would play out is if you can justify the first one, you're probably going to be able to justify all of the rest of them is most likely how it's going to go. In this quick of a succession is going to be my guess. Now, if it was like one and then like a minute later he fired twice and then a third time, then maybe. But like when it's like 1, 2, 3 like that, I don't know if you'd have to justify every single bullet. Like for the Rittenhouse verdict, or I imagine for most like self-defense cases, you're looking at like basically if you lose on the first event, you're probably fucked on the rest. If you win on the first event, you're probably going to succeed on the rest, generally speaking. I think it happened with that Apple river stabbing or whatever. Destiny, I guarantee you stepping in front of a car and drawing is a form of depart arrest procedure. This was absolutely a justified shooting in the eyes of the law. I guess we'll see. I didn't know that you could execute. Why was she even being arrested? We don't have any information about what led up to them even like trying to open her door and everything too.
Shame! 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 Shame!
if I get killed, please don't just scream shame. Okay. Doesn't matter. You must comply. Just... I can't tell sometimes. It's got to be like the sub 75 IQ shit. I don't know how to... You can't execute somebody just because they don't follow an order. That's not how that works. You can get in trouble for not following lawful orders, and in certain situations, a cop might shoot you and be fully justified, you know, legally and morally for doing so. She was just blocking them. It was a house raid. Why? This is why I can't do breaking news. Like, what? You guys are, all the shit you guys are saying, none of you even know anything about this. I don't think we have any idea what happened. I know we don't know what was happening because none of you fucking readers have linked a story. You're all just like making up your own stories for all of it. What do you mean blocking? It doesn't look like she was blocking at all. Or if she was, I don't understand it. Because these guys, it looks like she's trying to wave them through. Number one, what do you mean house raid? How does she even know that they're going to do a house raid? It's an unmarked vehicle. They have their lights on now. But also, like, she's not even blocking them. They can just go to the left or the right. This looks like, I don't know if this is a school or maybe this is just a larger side street or what. I don't know what building they're in front of. Like, they can, like, you're just making shit up. Oh my God. Why were they trying to open her car? It sounds like you wanted to detain her, but I don't know what for. I have no idea. I don't know what was happening leading up to this. Like, these guys, here's the thing that I'm comfortable saying. Not really, but I'll give more comfortable than any of the fucking shit you retards are making up. Her car is identified. Like, they have information about her being problematic. I don't know why or what's going on. Oh, this is the other cop here. Because these people that come to arrest her or detain her, they're not responding to her blocking here. They're rolling up to arrest her. That's what's going on. Now, I don't know why. I don't know what was preceding this, and I haven't seen anybody link a story or give any information preceding this. But they already had identified her and came here to at least detain her.
Criminals! You're fucking criminals! What the fuck? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? You are fucking insane! What did you do? You! Shame! 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 Dude, what's happening to her?
She's dead. I shouldn't be laughing. Wait, is this about to get... Jesus.
Dude, you shot her! I'm trying to help! No! No! You fucking shot someone in the fucking face!
Is the question of him being in immediate danger possibly irrelevant? Does ICE even have the grounds to detain her here? Could the court rule against him because of that? I don't know if that would matter in this case. Like, even if it was an illegal detainment, if she were to actually endanger the life of an officer, I don't know if that would factor in for self-defense at this point. I'm not sure. Well, oh, I mean, I don't know. It gets kind of weird. I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. Destiny, they said stop, get out of the fucking car, and stepped in front of her car. They were clearly making an arrest. A car is a deadly weapon. You just have no idea what you're talking about. You can absolutely remove somebody from a car and just detain them. You have no idea if that's an actual full arrest or not. You don't have the information for that. You haven't linked it, so I know you don't have the information for that.
You shot someone in the fucking face!
Please read, why did they run away instead of immediately pursuing the car, trying to make an arrest? Looks like the officers were caught off guard too. I don't know what point you're trying to make, but my guess is because whatever they were getting out of the car to detain her for or arrest her for was probably some bullshit, would be my guess. That's why. It was some bullshit. She was either mouthing off to an officer or cussing at somebody or flipping somebody off or maybe trying to block with her car or something, but it was probably some bullshit is my guess.
You guys are the fucking criminals. You don't get to tell us what to do. Fucking criminals. Don't let him leave. Don't let him leave.
There's no way they can call self-defense on this, right? Dude moved in front of the car. I mean, if you can get out of the way of a car, I don't think you're allowed to. Like, if a person's trying to, like, run you the fuck over, then I think you're probably justified. But if you can't just... You can't just put yourself in front of a car and then scream self-defense and start shooting.
Pussy motherfuckers, man. No! Get the fuck out of our neighborhood!
It's unfortunate, but a car is 100% treated as a deadly weapon by law enforcement, and that is a long list of legal precedent. Yeah, but you can't just step in front of a car and start shooting. You can't do that. I'm pretty sure there's an obligation. Somebody linked a story earlier. Like if you can move out of the way, I think you have an obligation to move out of the way. You can't just put yourself in front of a car and start shooting, unless the person has like a warrant out for some kind of like deadly crime, or you have a reason to believe that they could commit like further violent acts or something, or if they're fleeing from having committed like a deadly crime or whatever.
Yeah, it's a fucking crime. We fucking know it. We're here.
Jesus, what's going on here?
Yeah, like what the absolute fuck, man? What the absolute fuck? Do you have a conscience? Do you have a conscience? Do you have a conscience? This is the time, man. This is the time to have a conscience. This is not okay. This is not okay.
A little bit late for that.
Get a fucking conscience.
Can you look at me and tell me you're doing the right thing? Get the fuck out of here, bro. You didn't
Yeah, where were they stuck in the snow here? Can somebody point me to the snowbank that they were trapped in?
In the head. In the head. And she drove into the road.
You, look at me. You can't even...
Watch out, man. Watch out.
Why don't you look at me? I thought you could do it. You
You okay, mommy?
Well. I'm guessing the lady block. Well, there was some fight happening beforehand. We just don't know. Maybe they were like following them around and honking or something, or my guess is the feds were probably just pissed off or something, and so they were being too retarded. Because it looks like, I mean, maybe we'll get body cam footage, or maybe this lady, has she posted anything? Because my guess is it looks like it's cold. It looks cold, right? But she has her window down, so my guess is this officer was probably chatting with her. Looks like he's got a phone out too. So maybe they were fighting or arguing or something? I don't know. But we don't know the lead up to this. Why did Kristi Noem call her a terrorist? The government just lies about fucking everything. So I don't know. I mean, Kash Patel, all these people just lie. So. The reaction of the other agents is very telling. They separate so quick. Yeah, I don't know. Legit question, would this not help add to the ban against ICE using masks? Women tries to get the fuck out via car when armed masked man approaches vehicle, then is shot dead. Well, she probably knows it's law enforcement here. I think that police officers, can conceal themselves if they're in the middle of like a particularly risky thing or they need to be undercover for some reason. But as standard practice, it feels very weird that people who are public servants who are entrusted with a monopoly on violence to act on behalf of the state, which is on behalf of the public, can go and move around under concealed identity. That's very weird to me. Can the state of Minnesota bring charges against this guy, or since he's a federal agent, can he only get federal charges? I have no idea. I don't know how that works at all. My guess is generally this isn't really that big of a question because you wouldn't have conflict here. Everybody would realize there was a fuck up. But in this case, when the feds are okay murdering American citizens and everything, I have no idea what would happen. I don't know why you guys are linking me Hassan tweets. I absolutely could not give a fuck less. It's fucking retarded. And irrelevant. Investigating a police officer in Georgia, what they will do what's called an X-Clear shooting investigation, which will be the agency, the FBI, and local DA's office investigating the shooting. If all three want to make charges, then the original agency can, but any of the three can make charges. All three can make charges, but if the original charging agency wants to make charges, then they will have priority. The shooter fled the scene in an unmarked car within 2 minutes. He fled. On what planet, if this was a justified shooting, does the shooter just run away? No investigation, no witness statements. The woman is still bleeding out and he ran away. This is disgusting. Whereas Congress, we have an out-of-control lawless agency running amok in our streets, and none of the people charged with oversight are doing anything. It is kind of wild that the ICE agent walks away from her after verifying that he shot her in the fucking face and is like, somebody call 911, and then bounces. Jesus. What is this?
obviously is, of course, chirping about this and crying that, basically the first thing he sees somebody get shot. Again, right? And so this is another example, right? Destiny obviously is, of course, chirping about this and crying that.
Chirping, he's literally turning into Hassan. Nice.
Basically the first thing he sees somebody get shot, and the first thing he does is he thinks about me.
I see somebody get shot, and the first thing I do is I think about all the people that have been hamming up the violent rhetoric in the United States of America and supporting federal agents killing U.S. citizens. It is true. Yes, I do. Yeah. I do think about the current political, social environment that I exist inside. That's correct.
Do you think government's responsible for not fixing this originally? Actually, yes. I do.
They should have fucking killed them in the crib. They should have arrested them first. They should have sent the National Guard already.
I think that Trump and the DHS and ICE are responsible because they've allowed these ICE protests to escalate to where people feel comfortable and they feel like it's an acceptable behavior to use their car to obstruct law enforcement. The fact is
no
that
idea what's going on
if
in
they
this
had
video,
shut
though.
this down originally at the very beginning, this woman would probably still be alive. She would be, and I'll explain why. It's because she would have known that, oh my God, if I do this, I could lose my life. I could instantly fucking die or I could get arrested and put in jail or something like that happen. Tim Walz's press conference. Ooh.
Well. We'll check in tomorrow on this. See if any more info comes out. I'm done with it. I don't care.
First of all, I'm predicting the future, and prediction is, a tricky business.
The Russians are doing very well for themselves, and I don't think they're going to invade. Putin is surely smart enough to know that invading Ukraine and owning it would be a prescription for huge trouble.
Russia overnight launched its long-anticipated attack on Ukraine. An unprovoked war in Europe is now underway.
What about the state of Israel? And with regard to the axis of resistance, it's in a long-term war that shows no signs of going away.
And so, with Nasrallah and Assad gone and Tehran's militias in Iraq appearing to be living their last days there, the Iranian proxy program has almost entirely collapsed.
I don't understand why Trump and company don't understand that Ukraine is going to lose, and it's going to lose reasonably soon.
It's a new year, but not much has changed for Russia or Ukraine. Both sides continue to trade blows in the battle as well as on diplomacy.
So what I worry about is not the Iranians getting nuclear weapons and using them against Israel. I worry about the Israelis using nuclear weapons against Iran when Iran is in the process of acquiring a deterrent.
President Trump says Israel and Iran have agreed to a full ceasefire taking effect in just a few hours.
Israel is the big loser. Israel is in really serious trouble today, and there's little hope of getting away from that moving forward. Second, that the Americans are also losers, but the winners are the Iranians.
People cheered in Tel Aviv celebrating this milestone moment. President Donald Trump declared a dawn of a new Middle East.
Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has a plan to leave Tehran if his regime collapses. The report comes as demonstrations continue to spread nationwide, marked by increasingly open defiance of the Islamic Republic.
I'm simply going to tell you, based on a lot of experience thinking about these issues, what I think is going to happen.
You can talk about maybe sending in special forces teams that can decapitate the regime. First of all, Maduro is going to be very hard to get at. He knows you're coming after him, and he's going to do everything he can to hide. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to work out a deal with Maduro.
Major breaking news. Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro has been captured by U.S. forces. President Trump confirming the large-scale U.S. military operation overnight.
I find it hard to believe that he's going to do anything substantial from a military point of view against Venezuela.
Oh, no.
First of all,
after you? Be specific.
Well, they even gave my opinions on the internet. I actually never even gave my opinions on the internet. However, my hand was forced to start giving my opinions because they came after me. They came after my family. They doxed my entire family.
How did they come after you? Be specific.
Well, they tried to come after me. They tried to debunk all my whole entire story. They then...
Who's they?
All the news.
Just get more
CNN,
specific. CNN, who within CNN?
CBS.
Who's the reporter?
I don't even know her name because she's irrelevant. Nobody knows who she is.
Fucking retards. Artemis is refusing to come on the panel Friday. Good. He's retarded. I don't care. In other depressing news, we have an epic court update. Not really epic, but... So after quoting from the Rose deposition several times in some of their stupid motions, they tried to move to get the full thing completely sealed forever because they didn't want any part of it released, because they probably felt like it wouldn't help their case, I guess. But I guess that was rejected. So we have the deposition for Rose. Now you can find out why I've been so triggered since August, I think. 23rd is when this happened. Keep in mind that Pxie sat through this entire thing, so... H3 sub still copes about the CSAM and a post of the H3 sub is full of fucking retards. I don't care. That audience is fucking retarded, and Ethan is fucking retarded. I don't care about them. It's never changing. Okay. He'll never walk back on that. Mr. Pedo Troll. The videographer. This is Stephen Hoog with the LVS Group, Inc. And the operator of this camera. We're on record, October 23rd, 2025. The time is 9:24 a.m. as indicated on the video screen. We are at blank blank, Illinois. This is the videotape deposition of blank blank. Sorry. This case is captioned Jane Doe versus Stephen K. Bonnell II, case number 25CV20757. Will the attorneys please identify themselves for the video record? Ms. Schlump Peters, Joan Schlump Peters on behalf of the plaintiff. Mr. Camara, good morning. Jay Camara, along with my colleague Joel Sjtlk. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. So Jane Doe is in the room when this is happening? No, I think she's on Zoom. She's attending this via Zoom. Good morning, Jay Camara, along with my colleague Joe Sjtlk. We're from Burke Brettler, LLP. We're counsel for defendant Stephen K. Bonnell, aka Destiny. The court reporter today is Amy Bateman with Latimer Reporting. Will you please swear in the witness? Witness sworn. The videographer, please proceed. So, for background, this deposition was set up because Kiwi Farms managed to fully dox and figure out the identity of who Rose was or purported to be. And then a person from Jstlk's Discord server, Sabasexual, began to harass her mom, her dad, and her siblings until they agreed to cooperate with Joan to sit for a deposition. So now they've agreed to sit for this deposition. Joan is excited for this deposition because the things that they're looking for are, one, to try to get more information that I'm a pedophile that they can throw into random filings, even though technically it has no bearing on this case. And then the second part is to try to get some confirmation on the date that I had a conversation with this person to bring it in range of the law that Pxie is erroneously suing me under, that she knows she's erroneously suing me under, because this law wasn't active when we had been communicating. So these are the two things basically that Joan is trying to get out of this deposition, that Jstlk's Discord server harassed this person into attending. Based. King. Ms. Schlump Peters, counsel, can we agree to the standard stipulations, objections other than to forum privilege waived until trial? Mr. Camara says, you're welcome to designate this transcript as confidential pursuant to the party's protective order. In this case, we have no objection to that. Ms. Peters says, okay, I'm going to do that, but just in terms of waiving objections until time of trial, are we agreed to that, or do you want to proceed under the federal rules of civil procedure? Waiving objections to the testimony? No. Or object, can you specify which objections you're referring to? She said, it's just the standard stipulation that you reserve your objections other than as to form and privilege until the time of trial. I don't know what this means. I've never heard this in my life. I don't think she's even actually really has a law degree. I don't know if she's, I don't know. But I don't know. I also might just not be aware of this or what this means. But I'm not understanding what you're asking. She says, okay. One of my guys say, essentially reserve all objections. She says, until the time of trial. Mr. Camara says, sure. She says, yes. He says, agreed. She says, okay, so all objections, except as to the form of question or to privilege, are reserved until the time of trial or other use of this deposition without being waived. Correct. Oh, I think I understand. So you're saying that even if you don't object here in the deposition, you would be able to object maybe at the time of trial, I guess. Is, I don't know how common that is either. I've never, I don't know, but maybe they do it sometimes. She says, wait, hold on. And also standard, the witness will read and sign the transcript within 30 days of receipt. And for the record, I do want to state this deposition is taken pursuant to the court's protective order at docket 116. So Amy, please mark the entire transcript and all exhibits as confidential, subject to protective order. The court reporter says yes. Joan says thank you. Today is October 23rd, 2025. We're here for the deposition of Rose in the matter of Jane Doe versus Stephen Bonnell, pending in the United States District Court for the District of Florida. Case number 2520757, whereupon Rose, called as a witness herein, having been first fully sworn, was examined and testified as follows. By Miss Schlump Peters, by Joan. Good morning, Miss Rose. Are you okay if I address you as blank, or would you prefer blank? I'll just say Rose. Rose is fine. Rose, thank you. My name is Joan Peters. I represent the plaintiff, Jane Doe, and these are counsel for the defendant, and they might also be asking you questions today. Before I begin, I want to make sure you understand how a deposition proceeds. First, you're under oath, so your testimony today is the same force as if you were in a court. This deposition will essentially be a question and answer. Make sure you wait until I finish any question before you answer. Please listen carefully to each question. If you don't understand the question, just tell me and I will rephrase it. If you answer it, I will assume that you understood the question. You have to answer each question audibly, so shaking your head yes or no won't get recorded on the record. If you don't know the answer or don't remember, it's perfectly fine to say so. Please don't guess or speculate. If you realize later that you need to correct or clarify something, you'll have a chance to review the transcript and make changes on what's called an errata sheet at the end of the transcript. You're going to receive the transcript within a few days after today, and you'll have a chance to review it, and then you'll need to sign it and return it. And if you need a break at any time, just let me know. We can go off the record and turn the video off. If there's a question pending, you'll need to answer the question first, and then we'll take the break. Do you understand? Yes. Okay, and next, because you are not represented by counsel here today, I want to make clear that I don't represent you, and neither does counsel for the defendant, but if you have any questions during the deposition, I can answer your questions. I just can't give you legal advice. Okay. Okay. All right. Can you please state your full name for the record? Rose. How old are you? Age. Where do you currently live? Where she currently lives. Now, you were served with a subpoena in this matter, correct? She said yes. Joan says, if you could just take a look at this and tell me if this is the subpoena that you were served with. Come here, Mr. I said Joel. No, this is, fuck, I should remember their first names. But this is one of my lawyers. Mr. Kamara, Ms. Peters, do you have a copy of the exhibits that you're going to be showing to the witness? Joan says, I do. I just don't have a copy of the subpoena. He says, okay. Rose says, yes. And then Joan says, which I did provide. Okay, so yes, this is the copy of the subpoena, correct? She says, yes, I'm going to mark this as Exhibit 1, but the reporter says I can do that now. And then Joan says, okay, and then can I have it back? Exhibit 1 is marked. Joan says, thank you. So the subpoena asked you to produce documents, correct? She says, yes. And did you produce documents? Yes. Okay, I am now going to show you a set of documents. Please review them and tell me if these are the documents that you produced. Disregard the confidential marked on them, but otherwise. Joel, I think that's his name. Joel says, Ms. Peters, to the extent you're questioning the witness about a document. Joan says, oh, sorry. He says, we'll need a copy of these. Joan says, sorry about that. And I do have another copy for you, which I will be marking as an exhibit. So Rose says, yep. Joan says, did you produce any other documents other than these? Rose says, no. She says, Joan says, okay. The reporter says, this is number 2, counsel. Joan says, yes, and please mark this as Exhibit 2, which are documents marked confidential and are date stamped AH1 through 10. Okay. That, this should be censored, or redacted, but okay. Exhibit number 2 marked by Joan. Now, one of the things that was requested in the subpoena, blank, was communications. Oh, I'm guessing that's was Rose, was communications between you and Solo Tiny Leaks. I'll just say Solo from January 1st, 2022 through the present. Do you have any other responsive documents that you did not produce in that packet? No. Okay, what about communications between you and the defendant, Destiny? Yes. No. On any of your different accounts that you would have for communication? No. No. Okay. Now, looking at the first page of Exhibit 2, can you confirm that this is a copy of your birth certificate? Yes. Thank you. Okay. Now, turn. If you turn to the next page, which is Bates stamped AH2, and then 3, 4, 5, and 6, can you tell me what this is? Jake says, Ms. Peters, the copy you gave me jumps from AH1 to AH3. I do not have AH2. Joan says, here, can you look at this copy? Let me make sure this one, all right. Yeah, this one is complete. Let me just make sure. Fuck. It is Jake and Joel, right? I think it's Jake. Oh, it's Jack and Joel, not Jake. Is it Jack? Maybe it's Jack. I should just check. Hold on. It's Jake. It is Jake. Oh, okay. That sounds more correct. Okay. Joan says, here, can you look at this copy? Let me make sure this one, all right. Yeah, this one is complete. Jake says, thank you. Joan says, sorry about that. Joan says, okay, so can you tell me what these pages are? Jake says, objection, vague and ambiguous. Joan says, go ahead and answer. Rose says, these were emails I got from someone named Callum. This is Sabasexual from Jstlk's Discord server, who's still in there. They're all posting about this today, by the way. These were emails I got from someone named Callum telling me that I got doxxed online, and he sent me lots of emails about screenshots he found online and stuff. Joan says, okay, and who is Callum? She says, I don't know. Joan says, did you ever respond to Callum? She says, a couple times. By the way, Joan also personally requested Callum to continue to reach out to Rose to try to bring her into the court case. That was something that Sabasexual leaked all by himself in Jstlk's Discord server. Okay, now in this document on AH2, it shows your email address is whatever.com. She says, Rose says, yes. Joan says, okay, this is your current email address, correct? She says, yes. And Joan says, was it also your email address beginning in 2022? Yes. So you don't. Have you had any other email addresses besides this one? Yes. Can you tell me what those are? I imagine this contains probably the email is like personal identifying information, so it's probably censored here. Back and forth. And when was this email address created? Rose says, when I was a kid, I don't remember. Joan says, okay, so probably prior to 2022. Yes. Okay. And do you still use that email today? Not very much. Okay. And turning to AH8, it's a document with a name on it, Ben Conway. Can you tell us what this is? This was a Snapchat username Solo made to try and contact me back in February, and I blocked it. I did talk to him, though. February of this year. Okay. The reporter asks, is that a yes? And then Rose says, yes. Joan says, and you said you did contact. You blocked him, but then you did speak with him. And then Rose says, he reached out to me on this through Snapchat. I accepted him. I told him not to talk to me or reach out to me. And then he threatened me. So I blocked him and I told my parents. So my guess is it's probably threatened me something about visiting where she lives or something that's blocked out her because of personal information. I think all of the stuff that's going to be redacted here is probably going to be, all of it is going to be personally identifying information for her. You wanted to call me, but I didn't call him. Joan says, okay. So after that communication is when you blocked him, indicating, so I guess Rose nodded or something here. And to confirm, Ben Conway, is that the legal name of Solo? That's what he said it was, so I don't know if that's real or not, but that's what I knew him by. When did you meet him? November of 2021. And how did you meet him? An app called Yubo. Yubo? U-B-O. No, Y-U-B-O. Y-U-B-O. Is that like a dating app? Or, she says, it's supposed to be an app for kids to make friends, so you have to be under the age of 18, technically. And how old was he when you met him? 21. How old were you at that time? 17. And where was he living when you met him? He told me he lived on Michigan Avenue in Chicago, but I think he actually lives in Oxford in England, is what he told me later. And so you met him on Yubo. When did you meet him in person? I never met him in person. Did he ever provide you with any form of legal identification or show you any legal identification? No. No. And what leads you to believe that he was living in Oxford, England during this time period? So this first thing is, this first answer is not that great because Joan is trying to find a way to impeach the idea or to raise this kind of like false narrative that Kiwi Farms was trying to push, and Pxie is retardedly trying to push, that there's some disagreement about the timestamps of messages that were sent. The messages are very clearly marked in a European date format, but they're trying to say, oh no, I think it was the month and date aren't actually swapped. This is real. And it's like, no, you can tell by the rest of them. So him living in Europe is bad for them because now the timestamps and the date format makes sense for us and it hurts their case. So now Joan has to press on this idea a little bit because she has to raise doubt that this guy's actually from Europe, because now it's kind of fucking over that part of the deposition. This is one thing they hoped to create some ambiguity around, and they kind of just lost that here. But And what leads you to believe that he was living in Oxford, England during this time period? He had an accent, and whenever I asked to meet, he would make up an excuse, so that made me assume he's not actually there. And he also told me that's where he's from. He told me later on in our relationship, when I was breaking up with him, in August, I think, that he actually had been living in Oxford for longer than he told me. Okay, so would you say you started a relationship with him beginning in November 2021, or November 21st, 2021, maybe? I don't know. Yes. Yes. Okay. Do you have any idea whether he's an American citizen or a British citizen? I think he's British. He had an accent and it never changed. Also, I could be wrong. I think, I don't know if this age for him is correct. I think he said 21, but I think he might be, I'm trying to think. He might be 24. I think he might have lied about his age. I would have to go back and check. But I think he's 24. But not that it matters much here, but. Do you have any idea whether he's an American citizen or a British citizen? I think he's British. He had an accent and it never changed. Okay. Also, there is stuff online that pointed to him living in England because of, in America, how dates are. It's month, date, year, but in England it's different, and so screenshots between him and Destiny talking showed a different date form. So I don't know how much Saba has leaked, but I've seen other emails that Saba didn't make public. I don't think he's aware of that, which is why I could speak a little bit more confidently about some shit that he's a little bit more cagey about. But one of the things that he was doing was he was providing a lot of information to her in these emails about stuff he was finding. He was asking her hey, do you know about the date format for this? Or do you have any information about this or that? He was trying to mine her for information about the case that he could pass on to Joan. So sometimes she'll refer to things like this, and she's referring to things that the Callum guy has basically put in emails to her. Okay, so there's also, I believe, a 6, 5, or 6 hour time difference between England and the United States. Were you there in person for this? No, I was flying. So when you were communicating with him, were you aware of that time difference? Yeah, he often would sleep in the morning and then he'd be awake later afternoon until late at night. And then he would do his work usually. When I went to bed, he'd have me stay up until 1 o'clock, I think, and he would say that he had to go and do work. Do you have any knowledge as to where he currently resides? No. So this is a long-distance relationship the entire time? Yes, that you were together. So he never went to your family home? No. No. He never met your family? No. Okay. When did your relationship with him end? August of 2022. Hold on 1 second. Is there evidence showing a connection between Joan and the Saba guy? Yeah, hold on. Trying to think of what I put this in. Hold on. We don't support this picture type. Okay. This is one of the emails that Callum sent trying to get her to reach out to Joan. Hello, I've been trying to reach out to you, connect you with a law firm involved in a case against Steve O'Bunnell II, also known as Destiny. I contacted you from a different email, but you stopped responding. They currently just want to know two things, whether you were in the USA or Europe on April 10th, 2022, and the same for October 4th, 2022. They also want details regarding Solo, but that is less urgent at the moment. Nice. This isn't a play to trap you or to expose you to further harassment. A recent court order was granted which will protect your identity from the public, and the defendant is restricted from sharing any information found during discovery. I have continued to try and get social media posts and profiles of yours taken down as a show of good faith and to reduce risk for yourself. I hope you will try to cooperate. And if you do, please contact petersjoan@bellsouth.net. And I think the only picture he posted on the server was kind of like lower resolution, but the identity of Rose. Oh, also, this is also proof, by the way, that Pxie lied in their filings when they said they had hired a private detective to find Rose. They didn't. They were just going by the what was being emailed to them. The identity of Rose has been found by some people at, unfortunately, Kiwi Farms. I've done some of my own research to try and confirm the details and the rolls, the something. I don't know what that says. Joan says, thank you. This is very helpful information. Much appreciated. Seba says, I've made contact with Rose via email and told her to contact you with Solo's information. If she doesn't contact you within the next few days, let me know and I will give you her email address. Joan says, thank you. We will definitely let you know if we do not hear from Rose. We are very much interested in speaking with Solo and Rose, if at all possible. Then Joan follows up 20 hours later, I think. Hi, Callum. We haven't heard anything from Rose yet. We very much would like to speak with her. Could you facilitate that? Or send us her email so we can try and communicate with her? Thank you, Joan. I have been contacting her through the email address, and then he lists one of them. Thank you. Does it seem like she is at all willing to help Pxie in her case? He says, I honestly don't think she's willing to help. I've helped her get some of her information off the internet to avoid harassment to her and her family, but... And then the rest of it cuts off. So he was aware that he was harassing her and that she had no desire to be involved in this and didn't want anything to do with any of this, but neither of them gave a fuck. Pxie doesn't give a fuck. None of the people involved in this give a fuck because these people are all literally degenerate scum. And then in a very dark and sad way, I guess technically this all ended up being very helpful to me, but I mean, it came at obviously the expense of this person's mental health and privacy. And then just as a quick thing for the types of communication that Saba was pushing, because Rose didn't have interest in responding to his email, so he started to email her entire family. Assistance for investigation. I'm aware that you are fairly close to Rose. I'm not prying for any information about her. And then trying to get a hold of Rose. I've been trying to get a hold of your sister. It's important she gets in contact with. I've been trying to get a hold of your daughter. It's also important she gets in contact with. I'm trying to get a hold of your daughter. So he's like emailing her friends, her family members, people that he can find from her Facebook and everything. Yeah. Again, this guy is still in Jstlk server. They're probably talking about this literally right the fuck now. And I'm sure they're laughing about it and everything else. But yeah. Oh, they are actually. Somebody just sent me a screenshot. Nice. Fuck. I'm trying to think of where this transcript. I'm just curious what was redacted here. I can't read it out loud, but if it is redacted, it should just be like basically personally identifiable information related to her. Yeah, fuck. I don't know what it is, but anyway. Destiny, how much did you know about what she was going to testify before the deposition, or was this stuff a surprise to everyone? Your lawyer seems like a human being when she's talking about the traumatic bits. I sent them a separate email thanking them because they handled this very well. I do feel insanely bad for her and her involvement. I had no idea. I didn't know what she was going to testify because I've never talked to this person before, apparently. The only time I ever reached out, I think, was I sent like a Facebook message, I think in June, It was after she was doxxed or whatever on Kiwi Farms, and before she was doxxed in July. Now people are going to say this is evidence I knew who she was before. But I think after she was doxxed, I found her Facebook and I sent her a message, and then she blocked me immediately. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess she doesn't want to fucking talk to me. So the, but we'll get to that. Okay. And between August 22nd, 2022 and February of 2025, did you have any communication with him? I don't think so. He tried to reach out to me a lot, so he would find, I had to delete my Discord and my Instagram because he would find my Discord and make new accounts and trying to follow me on them or on Snapchat, but I don't remember talking to him in between then. Okay, we're going to get into your Discord account a little bit later. I want to show you in what has been marked as Exhibit 2, which is in front of you, if you could turn to page 9 and 10. How did you communicate with Ben? We talked through Snapchat. We messaged through Snapchat. And on Discord, we also messaged, but that's blah, blah, blah. Have my face camera on, but he wouldn't. So did you ever see his face? Not live. Did you communicate other than Snapchat and Discord on any other platform? Facebook or Twitter? Skype phone call or... yeah, and messaging. Not very much messaging, but Skype call, yeah, and video call. And then I know Instagram, I don't think, and then Facebook, or no iMessage, no emails. I don't think so, but I don't remember. All right, that's fine. And so your Snapchat messages with him, would those still be on your phone? No. Did you delete your account? Or when I stopped being in a relationship with him, I unfriended him and blocked him. And I don't know if he still has his old Snapchat account, because when I looked in my blocked accounts, his name doesn't pop up for his old one. Okay, what was your cell phone number in 2022? I imagine this is her cell phone number. Is that still your current, number? Thank you. So when you met, or I'm going to say met, I know it wasn't in person, but just that you met him long distance in November of 2021, did you have a Discord account? Yeah. When was your Discord account created? I think in 2020. And what was your username on your account? I don't remember. I deleted that. Okay, so you created a Discord account yourself in 2020? Yeah. And when did you delete it? I think like a week after I broke up with Ben because he kept trying to contact me. So sometime in August of 2022. August or September, because I broke up with him later in August, I think. Okay, but I'm not exactly sure. And it would have been created either with your cell phone number at the time or your email address. Yeah. And Ben had a Discord account when you met him? Yeah. Yes. Do you know what was Ben's Discord username? Yeah, it was Rose, capital R, of, capital O, V, capital T, Garden, capital G, and with Discord you have like a hashtag, okay, with a number, and his number was 2043. Did you have a Twitter account prior to meeting Ben? I don't think so. No. How about, did you have an Instagram account prior to meeting him? Yeah. Yes. Facebook? Maybe, I don't remember. And have you ever had an account with Kiwi Farms? No. No. Did Ben have a Twitter account? Yeah. Do you know what his Twitter account username was, or any... I don't know what his one that he had before me that he used, but he made one impersonating me called Rose, capital R, is, capital I, and then capital CUMMING. So to make that account, did he use your email address or a phone number in order to create it? No, he just used my face as a profile picture. Did he use his own identifying information to create it, such as email or phone number? I think so. Jake objects. I'm going to object. The witness lacks personal knowledge, calls for speculation. John says, do you recollect when this Twitter account was created, the one that you just stated that Ben created with your profile photo? Sometime in 2022, but I don't remember months. Okay, maybe early 2022? Maybe, I don't know. Okay, now you had access to this account? I don't think so, no. You never went on that Twitter account. No, he let me make a Twitter account that was just for looking at it because he'd want me to look at it and screen share, or sometimes he would screen share himself and show me that account, but I didn't have access to it, no. Okay, and what was the Twitter account that you created? I don't remember. Do you still have that account? No. So you created that account after you started your relationship with Ben? Yeah. And do you recollect what your username was? No. Do you remember if you had used your email or your phone number to create the account? I don't remember. That's okay. Do you have any idea when you deleted it? No, I don't know. Sometime in 2022? Yeah. So Ben never shared the login credentials for the account that he created with your profile photo? Jake said, objection, leading. Rose says, I don't know. Can you rephrase that? Joan says, sure. Did Ben share his login credentials, like his username and password, to access the Twitter account that he created with your profile photo? Share it to me? Yes. Oh, no. Okay. So you stated that you had an Instagram account prior to meeting Ben? Yeah. Did you create any new account after meeting him? Not on Instagram. Okay. And I apologize if I asked you this already, but do you recollect what your username is on the Instagram account? This was an old one. I have a new. Well, I had to delete that one too. I don't remember. So the Instagram account that you had back in November 2021 when you met Ben, that account is no longer active? Yeah, it's deleted. Deleted? Yeah. And do you have an idea of when it was deleted? Around the same time, I had to delete my Discord account. Okay, and approximately when did you set up a new Instagram account? Probably sometime in 2022 or 2023, but I don't remember exactly when. And why did you delete the Instagram account? Because Ben was trying to contact me through it. Okay, so you set up your Discord account back in 2020, and you used that account to communicate with Ben? Yeah. Objection, compound from Jake, Joan. And you stated that you don't recollect the username on that Discord account? No, it might be my friends know. I don't know. I could maybe find it. I could maybe find it for you if I can look through my camera roll, because I know I used to take pictures of like messages between my friend group and I before I met Ben. So maybe I'll have it, but I don't know it off the top of my head. Okay, understood. I'm going to ask you to try to find that information as to what the username on the account was. Okay. Or if there was what email address or cell phone number was associated with it. Okay. And did anyone else have access to that Discord account? I don't think so. Did you ever give Ben your username and password for that account? Jake says, objection, vague, which account? Joan says, the account that she created in 2020. Go ahead. Rose says, I don't remember. Joan says, okay. Now, after you met Ben, was there another Discord account created? No. Did he create an account using your information? Jake says, objection, vague. What kind of account are we referring to? Joan says, Discord. Rose says, not to my knowledge. Joan says, not to your knowledge. Okay. So this Discord account that you created in 2020 is the only Discord account that you've ever had in your name. I made another one after Ben that I have now. Okay, so let's refer to the first one as your 2020 Discord account. Yeah. And then the second one, when was that created? I can look at my phone if you want, and I just need an approximate idea. Jake, objection, calls for speculation. I don't know, maybe 2023? Joan, okay. And for your 2020 Discord account, did you ever give Ben your username and password so that he could access the account? Not that I can remember. Okay, and when was that account deleted? The 2020 one? Yes, 2020. A little after I broke up with him, a week, maybe in September of 2022. Now, after your 2020 Discord account was initially created, did you ever change your username or password? Maybe the password, because sometimes I forget my passwords, but I don't remember when. Okay, but do you recall changing the username? No. So, Rose, I'm going to show you. It's a stack of documents, and these documents were produced by the defendant in this case. They have been date stamped SB 1617 through SB 1919, and they are all marked confidential. And taking a look at what is marked as SB 1618, do you recognize this as Discord messages? Now, the reason they're saying SB 1617 through SB 1919, these are bait stamps for Stephen Bunnell, and then the reason why there are so many of these is because I provided a lot of documents because it was responsive to all of their requests for discovery. So they have all the information that they could possibly need. And I still have nothing from Pxie, by the way. But, you know. What is baits? Bait stamps are just ways to refer to stamps, I think, in a court case, because sometimes it can be millions of documents. So you just have a stamp to refer directly to like a document, so in case you're ever getting confused on things. Jake, again, Miss Peters, if you're going to present the witness with a document, we need to have a copy as well. Joan says, you did say you had all of these documents, but here is, Jake says, I need a hard copy to reference, please. Thank you. Is this entire stack of hundreds of pages being entered as an exhibit? Joan says, I did not mark it as an exhibit. No. Rose says, what was the question? Joan says, so do you recognize this as a, and then Jake says, excuse me, Joan, which page are you on right now? Joan says, this is 16. Rose says, 18. Joan says, 18. Jake says, thank you. Joan says, do you recognize this as a Discord exchange with the defendant, Destiny? Rose says, it looks like Discord. Jake says, Joan, I'm missing page 1618. Joan says, what page do you have there? Jake says 1617, goes to 1619. Joan says, let me see if this is, it shouldn't be missing, but all right, hand me that one back and I need this, but I'll give you 1618. Here you go. No, keep that. Jake says, thank you. Joan says, so you said that you recognize this as a Discord exchange? Rose says, yeah. And Joan says, and did you have a Discord account with the username Rose? No. No. So when you refer to your 2020 Discord account, what name would have appeared here for you? I don't remember, but it wasn't Rose. This, just because it says Destiny, this is just the name that you can present, but Discord actually gives you a longer name. So Rose, it wasn't just Rose as the username. That was just the name that it can present to you as. So for Discord, it could look like Rose1234, but if you just want the name, it could just be Rose. Okay, and do you recognize, at least from that page, any of those messages? No. No. And then the videographer says, can you move your microphone up higher for me? Joan says, oh, sure. The videographer says, thank you. Joan says, so were you aware of a Discord account that was created under the name Rose that was communicating with Destiny? I thought that Ben was talking to Destiny under his Rose of the Garden Discord, so I didn't know if there was a new one created or not. Okay, so this doesn't say Rose of the Garden, it just says Rose. That's what I'm saying, is just because it presents as Rose the full name on Discord isn't always shown. So this could be Rose of the Garden instead of just Rose, is what I'm saying. Got it. So were you aware, did Ben tell you that he created a Discord account under the name Rose of the Garden or Rose in which he communicated with Destiny? Yeah. Yes. Did he share with you any of the messages or videos or attachments that were received? Sometimes, yeah. Yes. Did you ever have any access to that account? No. Ben never gave you login credentials to that account? No. So are you aware that excerpts from this chat thread between Rose and Destiny were leaked on the internet? Yeah. Yes. And when did you become aware of that? When that Callum guy emailed me. Ben didn't tell you? No. Are you also aware that a number of videos, sexually explicit videos, were released on the internet from this account? Of me? No, not of you. No. Okay, so you're not aware of the videos? Jake says, objection, vague. Joan says, do you know who the plaintiff is in this case? No. Are you aware that the defendant in this case sent a sexually explicit video of himself and the plaintiff to Rose on this Discord account that I just presented to you for the first time, that I just presented to you the first page of this, on the first page of the chat thread? There's a word missing here, sorry. I was told that Destiny sent blackmail porn of the Jane Doe to people, but I don't know who. This is all stuff, remember, that Callum has emailed her. That's where she's getting any of her information from this. Okay. Did Ben ever share with you any of the videos that you were sent by Destiny on that Discord chat thread? Like the videos of Destiny? Yes. Sometimes. Okay. Do you have any idea of how many videos Ben would have shared with you? He didn't share very many. I think I only saw probably a handful of videos that Destiny sent. And now that you're aware of this case, do you have an idea do you have any knowledge of whether you saw the video that is at issue in this case, which is the video of the plaintiff and the defendant? No. No. Do you know if Ben shared any of the videos that he received with other people? Which videos? Any of the sexually explicit videos he received from Destiny? I don't know. So in 2020, December of 2024, after the leaks occurred, a user on Kiwi Farms questioned why you would have shared these videos and chat threads in the leak in November of 2024. And Solo replied, in regards to why she's sharing it now, she isn't. She gave me the account a while ago and told me I can do whatever I want with it. She doesn't really care about stuff being leaked. Jake says, objection, lacks foundation. You appear to be quoting from something, but if there's a document you're quoting from, please provide it to the witness. Joan asks, is this an accurate statement? Jake says, objection, vague and ambiguous. So by this point in the deposition, so unfortunately I couldn't watch, I don't know if there's a video of this or not, but the description I've been given is that the energy has kind of shifted a lot because they've kind of like fucked themselves really hard on two major points. So one is they've kind of lost the pedo accusation that they really loved sticking in that footnote, and they know that they're going to be asked to change it or they're going to be sanctions coming. And now they've lost the timestamp argument as well that they were trying to strip some ambiguity around. So the subject matter jurisdiction question related to the row step is basically completely tossed at this point, and they're probably going to have to correct filings. So now Joan's goal has shifted into, I have to stir up some doubt about the credibility of the witness. I need to try to prove that she's lying. I need to fuck with this in some way because like it's kind of, she has to try to salvage the deposition at this point because it's very, very, very not, very, very not good at this point. Joan says, okay, so Solo said that you gave him the account a while ago. This was a statement in December of 2024. Rose said, what account? Jake said, same objections. Joan says, the Discord account. Jake said, hearsay, lacks foundation, calls for speculation. Again, if you're referring to a document, please show the witness the document that you're referring to. Joan says, your objection is noted. So one of the issues is if you are setting up for a deposition, okay, you need to have all of your exhibits in a row. So you have to be able to provide exhibits to the opposing counsel. You need to be able to provide exhibits to the witness and then to the videographer so that they can stamp them as exhibits for the deposition. This is part of, I'm sure there's a part of like your standard preparation for a deposition. You can't quote things that you can't show and be able to present as an exhibit. And if you have exhibits that you'd like to present or stamp for a deposition, you have to be able to give them to the opposing counsel as well, so everybody's reading from the same stuff, so that everybody knows what they're referring to and can conduct the deposition in a proper manner, basically. How can Joan ignore so many objections from your lawyers? An objection is an objection in court an objection in court prevents the testimony from continuing so that the jury can't hear things that a judge has sustained as a good objection. In a deposition, you don't have a judge to rule on whether or not the objection is good. So what you do is you object, and what the objection does is it preserves it for the record so that in an evidentiary hearing, pretrial stuff, you can, argue, I don't think this should be in court. Look, I objected in the deposition. But you wouldn't be able to have somebody do like deposition after deposition after deposition and then argue, well, actually, I want to object to that. So you object to kind of preserve it on the record so that you can object when you're arguing on your pretrial evidentiary stuff or whatever bullshit. The only there might be two, but the only objection I'm aware of where you can stop a deposition is for attorney-client privilege. Like that's the thing you can say, objection, attorney-client privilege, and you're not allowed to continue past that point. But okay, Joan, you can proceed to answer. Did you give the account a while ago to Solo? Rose said, no, there was no account to give him. Joan says, okay, because you stated that it was his account that he created, correct? Yeah. Okay. Did you ever tell him that you don't care about your stuff being leaked? No. No. Were you aware that he was going to leak any of the videos or chat thread from the Discord account before he did so? No. So he never asked for your permission? No. And your communication with Solo about the leaks is only what you testified to earlier regarding your communication on Instagram? Jake, objection, vague and ambiguous, lacks foundation. Rose says, iMessage on Instagram? Joan says, yeah, I thought you said it was Instagram that he reached out to you. Ben? Rose says, no, Jake says, misstates prior testimony. Rose says, that was Snapchat. Joan says, sorry, my mistake. Snapchat. Rose says, I didn't know about the leaks until the Callum guy emailed me. So no, Ben never. Okay. Talk to me about that. And when was the first time approximately that Callum reached out to you? I don't remember. It's in here, August 26th. August 26th of 2025? Yeah. Okay. Did anyone else contact you about the leaked materials after November of 2024? After November of 2024? Well, the leak occurred in November of 2024. Did anyone contact you about them besides Callum? No. No. Okay. This is just information about stuff that would be personally identifying, but not relevant to any of this. Okay. Oh, okay. And then Rose said, but people were reaching out to me on that and asking me if I was Rose. And so I had to delete my Instagrams because people kept trying to follow me. Oh, well, she's kind of referring to her. I think this is basically, she had like another Instagram account, but talking about the details of this account is like PII. It's personally identifying information. So she's saying, but people were reaching out to me on that and asking me if I was Rose. And so I had to delete my Instagrams because people kept trying to follow me. I had probably like 15 people try to follow me over the course of a week. And why would they have connected you with Rose based on your Instagram account? I don't know. I heard that Destiny tried to send a group of guys to find me because he wanted to talk to me. That's what I heard from this Callum guy. And so I think like my information got leaked online and people were able to find my Instagram somehow. Is that in the chat, the email thread with Callum that Destiny was trying to get in touch with you? Yeah, I think so. It might have just been on the first page. Something just like online that I found out. Yeah, I think so. It might have been on the first page. I have no idea why this is censored, but okay. I'm not going to read it, but there's like, it's not relevant to any, it's just random stuff. That's weird. Okay. Just like online that I found out. And when you say online, what form would that have been in? Twitter. When I found out about really from what Callum emailed me about, I didn't really know about the Pxie person. I was more concerned about myself because my address, a picture of my car, and everything got posted online. And Destiny did that. And Destiny put my name and my address on Twitter. That's called doxing, right? Yeah. How did you have your name and address? I heard that, now remember, she's just repeating this is all the stuff that Seba has emailed her and told her. But Jake says, objection, calls for speculation by the witness. How is Callum not poisoning witness testimony? All of the witness testimony has been fucked by their side so hard. This is why I don't know what their goal is. Like, they never want to go to trial on any of this. Dude, Lauren's testimony is 1 billion times worse, and it was 9 hours long. You want to talk about poisoning the well? It is crazy how many men she is fucking and sucking and influencing behind the scenes to try to get them. It's unbelievable. I hope to God, especially because because she was publicly saying she wanted the transcript to be unsealed. I'm pretty sure that's like a killer of like, oh yeah, fine, we'll unseal it. Like by their own request. Like the default is transcripts aren't sealed anyway. So I'm hoping that one becomes available. I don't know if I probably won't read that whole one on stream because I'm not exaggerating. It was literally a 9-hour deposition, but there's a ton of. Did Lauren's testimony include the 6th Street incident? Yes. Yeah, yes, it did. And she admitted that she approached me and Lauren. She said she did. That she said she wasn't recording a video, but she was FaceTiming with Pxie, and she ran up to us. She admitted that in the deposition. So yeah, she's fucking lying about that publicly, obviously. But and how did he have your name and address? That's called doxing, right? Rose says, you must read it or the people won't care. I don't even have the transcript of that. I haven't asked for it, but we have to wait for however long it takes for the court to do that. Yeah. Okay. Jake says objection, calls for speculation by the witness. Rose says, I heard that. Jake says, assumes facts not in evidence. Okay. Jones says, go ahead. Okay. And then Rose says, he put together a group of guys in Discord. There was like a Discord chat that he put together and wanted to find Rose, which was me, I guess. And basically these people found out all kinds of information on me as possible. Destiny said that I went to blank and I think maybe my name and that I live in blank. And so these guys went out to try and find me. And I think that's all on Kiwi Farms, which was the place that I got like mostly doxed on. But did you see any of these posts on Kiwi Farms yourself? Yeah. Did Discord, any administration or administrator on Discord ever reach out to you about the leak? No. Have you ever been contacted from law enforcement, from anybody in law enforcement? No. Okay, when did you first become aware of who Stephen Bunnell is? I think probably in like December. Ben really liked watching his streams. December of what year? 21. So he would want us to watch his streams together or like YouTube channel. So did you start watching also? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Did you follow Destiny on any of the social media sites? On YouTube. And under what name did you follow him on YouTube? I think it was just, this is her account, probably sounds like her real name or whatever. Were there any other social media sites that you followed Destiny on? Not that I can remember. Have you personally had any communications, direct communications with Destiny? No. So, looking at Exhibit 2, which is in front of you on page 5, there's a screenshot on that page, which I believe is a message on Twitter. Is that right? Yeah. And can you tell us what the date of that message is? April 3rd, 2022? Yeah. Now, do you recognize this message? I mean, I got sent it by the Callum guy, so yeah, I recognize it there. Okay. So for this, you did not receive these messages yourself on Twitter? No. So this was not your Twitter account? No. And then looking at page 7 of that same exhibit, can you tell us what this is? Discord messages. A Discord message? Yeah. And it's between Rose and Destiny, correct? Yeah. And just for the record, it's dated a European date format, which would be July 30th, 2022, right? Yeah. And this is a screenshot that you provided? Yeah. This was given to me by Callum. Callum sent you this screenshot? I'm pretty sure, yeah. Oh, wait, no, sorry. This one, I asked my friend pretty soon after I got told that I was doxxed. I left all social media. So my best friend was the one that was watching online for things for me. And I asked her to send me because she told me that people found a date that proved that it was in European date format. So she found it for me on Twitter. This was posted on Twitter. So she sent you the screenshot to you on Twitter? No, not on Twitter. She's on Twitter. She found it. She took a screenshot and she sent it to me. Okay, but this is a Discord message, okay, that she found on Twitter. Okay, the reporter says, is that a yes? She says yes. Jake says objection, misstates prior testimony. Jones says, did she send you any other messages or chat threads that would be relevant to this lawsuit? No. Objection, vague and ambiguous. Joan, no. Do you know, is it your understanding that Ben created the Twitter account that we just looked at the screenshot of on what has been bait stamped AH5? Jake says objection, calls for speculation. Rose says yeah. Jake says lacks foundation. Jones says yes. Rose says yeah. And did he ask you for your permission to create that account with your information? No. Were you aware of the account? Yeah. Yes. Were you aware of videos being sent back and forth on that Twitter account? Yeah. Yes. Now you attended blank college, correct? Yeah. Okay, and when did you start attending blank college? I think it was 2021. Were you still in a relationship with Ben when you started attending blank college? I started attending before I knew Ben. Okay, do you know if your cell phone number was ever given to the defendant, Destiny, in this case? No. You don't know if it was or not? I don't know. Okay, and you never spoke to him? No. No. Now we discussed the chat thread on Discord between Rose and Destiny and the fact that videos were being sent by Destiny. Did you, and then you stated that Ben sometimes shared some of those videos with you, correct? Yeah. What did you do with those videos after he shared them with you? I didn't do anything with them. He would send them in Snapchat and then delete them. He would delete them? Yeah. Okay, 1 second. Now, are you aware that on this same Discord account, I'm going to call it the Rose Discord. Okay. Basically, it's basically saying that that me and I guess Solo are having a conversation on this Discord account without personal stuff being revealed. But yeah, and she says, and then Joan says, "Okay, did you ever send those videos or images directly on the Rose Discord account?" No. Okay, can you just hand me back that one page? She hands it back. Thank you. So I'm showing you what has been marked as SB 1622. And if you look at the message dated April 3rd, 2022 at 9:28 p.m., can you tell us what that says? You want me to read it? Sure. The whole thing? No, just that one message. Which one? At 9:28 p.m. from Rose. Would you be down to call sometime? Okay, so here, Rose is offering to speak to Destiny. Okay. Excuse me? Okay. Yes. And did you ever tell Ben that you'd be willing to speak to Destiny? No. Okay. Any idea why he would have written that? Just because I didn't give Ben consent to do something doesn't mean I didn't have to do it. Ben would just make me do things whether or not I wanted to. Okay. It's basically okay and all right, and then it's basically asking like, were media files exchanged? Basically, we'll just say that much. As vague as Drake says objection, vague and ambiguous, may states prior testimony, compound. Jones says Ben never asked you to look at the Discord account, Ben never asked you to look at the Discord account, the Rose Discord account. He would send screenshot pictures to send to me sometimes of texts. Okay, and why would he do that? I think he was bragging. Yeah, okay. So let's look at page 1623. No, sorry, that's... Fuck. I don't think it matters. I'm not saying the specific thing. Basically, this is just referring to particular things in Rose's house. We'll just say that media created in Rose's house. Things that are like personal things that like a random person wouldn't know. We'll just say that. Now, you testified earlier that Ben never went to your home. No, he didn't. And then this is like a question asking about kind of like stuff in the home. And then she says, basically, yeah. And he says, okay, is that something that you told him? Yeah. Okay, so I'm showing you what's been marked as SB 1629. And if you could just read this, read to yourself the first few message exchanges. Okay, so you read that? Yeah. And now, so Destiny is telling you here that he likes blank, correct? I imagine some sexual thing, I'm guessing. Yeah. Okay. And then if you look at blank, blank, Jake says objection to the prior question. Destiny wasn't telling her anything. Jones says Rose is the name on the chat thread. Jones says, so now if you look at 1631 and 32, and if you look at the bottom of 1631, what? Well, that's annoying. Well, hold on. So I think that as per the rules for the redactions on the deposition, it's not only just personally identifiable information. It might be some sexual information regarding, because it's considered, it can be embarrassing or humiliating for the deponent. So basically, what this is I'm having a conversation with the Rose account. We're talking about a thing, and then media of that particular thing is then being sent to me, and then basically the media is being created, and then they're being passed along, unbeknownst to her, to me via Solo. Is what this page is basically about. Yeah. Any concerns with sidestepping the redactions like this? Curious if you know something. Well, I mean, I'm not supposed to reveal anything personally that would be contrary to the redactions. But I mean, it's a non-strict. I'm just summarizing what's here, basically. Yeah. Private info of an intimate or sexual nature that could cause harassment, embarrassment, or retaliation, basically. Okay. Then it would have been marked as SB 1657, and I will show that to you. If you look at Destiny's question to Rose, April 5th, 2022, do you get along with your family pretty well? And then Rose responds, I love them and all, but they're very annoying and a bit mean to me. Is that something Solo would write? Yeah. Okay, so that's not something you would have written? No. Okay. I'm showing you what has been marked as SB 1708, and at the top of the page is a message from you that says, it's basically something of a sexual nature. And then Destiny responds, dated April 14th, 2022. Ooh, and then Rose responds about basically creating some kind of like piece of media, we'll say, for me. And then Destiny responds, yeah, at some point, just let me know when you're normally free. And then at 1:05 p.m., they're just giving a time when they're free. So are you testifying today that you did not speak with Destiny? Basically, all of this is her. She's just like going through and quoting parts of it to try to see like, you really didn't type this? This wasn't you? How would he have known about this? This wasn't you? That's basically like what this whole kind of like section is Joan is kind of like grilling her on like trying to figure out, are you sure? Is it really not you? Is it really not you? Are you sure it's somebody else? Why would he have messages about your family or stuff like that? That's basically what, yeah. So you testifying today that you did not speak with Destiny? I don't remember calling him, but no, I never messaged him. Okay, you never messaged him, but did you perhaps speak with him on Discord? I honestly don't remember if I ever called him, but I don't think I did. Would you be surprised if he produced documents in this case that he did speak with you? Yeah. She's referring to here is just my message with Pxie where I thought I'd chatted with her on Discord at some point, but apparently I haven't. I don't know now if people think I lied to Pxie or if I was being truthful there and now me and Rose are collaborating and we're together lying now to say that we never spoke. I don't fucking know where people are on this, but Destiny, no way they win this case, right? Like all of the evidence is on Destiny's side. This case has been dead for 6 months. Or at least 7 or 8 months. Since our evidentiary hearing, this case has been dead. This has all been dragged out as much as they can because Pxie just wants to destroy my reputation and waste my money. That's all this is. Well, or Lauren does. And Pxie is a weak enough human being to be manipulated by her. Destiny, was this the first time you found out she wasn't who you were talking to? Can't imagine how much of a mindfuck that would have been. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Listen, I love my legal team, but I remember I got home and I think like it was like, listen, are you sitting down? Because you're not gonna believe this. And I'm like, oh my god, she was like 12. I'm fucked. It's all over. Fuck. And then the informant was like, wait. Yeah, it was definitely like probably an hour-long shocker where I'm like, but I mean, I guess in a kind of dark way, it was also kind of some relief, I guess, but in a very dark, unfortunate way. But Rose says, yeah. Joan says, you would be surprised? She says, yes. Would you be surprised if you heard that he produced documents saying that he spoke with you for hours on call? On phone calls or Discord chat? Yes. You would be surprised. So you have no recollection of that? No. Now, if you look at SB 1771, hold on, here you go. And this is dated July 21st, 2022. This is basically about this is me asking about I guess like a picture, I guess, that was drawn basically. And so Joan is saying, so it was just a drawing, not a photo? Yeah. Okay. Now on what has been marked as SB 1870, this message thread is dated August 31st, 2022. And at 2:27 p.m., Rose says, my BF just broke up with me. And then again at 2:38 p.m., you say, I don't know. He told me he loved me and then blocked me on everything. So is that accurate? That would have been the date that you and Ben split up? 8 is August, right? Joan says, yes, August 31st, 2022. Yeah. Okay. And your testimony is that you did not send this message to Destiny? I did not. Okay. And then on the next page, which I did provide to you, is SB1871. And on August, still August 31st, 2022, at 2:45 p.m., Destiny asks, are you at home now or where are you at? And Rose responds, home, and then just what she's doing at home. Yeah, that wasn't me. That wasn't you? And then she's basically asking like how would your boyfriend have even known this thing? And she's basically like, well, yeah, basically, yeah. And then Joan says, would Ben have known that that's where you were? Wait, hold on. Oh, no, wait. This is, sorry, that was the next part. That's not redacted over here. So Rose is responding and saying home, basically like, we'll say with a person. And then that wasn't you. And then, you know, is this person a person basically in your life? And then she says, yeah. And then she also says, I guess, where she is with this person. Okay. And then Joan is saying, would Ben have known that that's where you were? And then Rose says, no. Joan says, so were you aware that Stephen Bunnell was having a relationship with a woman by the name of Lauren? This is Lauren Southern. Were these the right? Oh yeah, these would have been the right days for this. I don't know what the fuck this has to do with anything, but okay. No. Jake says, objection, relevance. Doe was there too, right? So she was there to see this shit show? Yep, she was on Zoom watching, so she's aware of all of this. So she got to watch what an actual victim looks like as she sits there and plays games with her parents' money and LARPs around as a fucking retarded infinite college student who can just do whatever the fuck she wants in life, yeah. Joan. So I'm showing you what has been marked as SB1910, and this chat thread is dated April 13th, 2023. And it's basically, we'll just say like it's an offer to travel somewhere, kind of. And then Destiny responds at 12:45 p.m. Hey, if you ever want to come to Miami, just let me know. I can always pick up the ticket. Fuck. This is, hold on, let me think of how to phrase this. It's annoying that so much of this is censored. That's okay. Basically, we'll just say it was an offer from the Rose account for things. And then Joan is basically asking, why would Solo say any of this? And then Rose is basically saying, I mean, because these are things that Solo, you know, essentially wanted me to do, basically. We'll say that, yeah. But you had already broken up with him at that point. This is 4/13. Joan says of 2023. Rose says, that's weird. Yeah, no, I didn't do that. I was broken up with him by then. Joan says, okay, so that message was not from you? No. Destiny, aren't all these chats leaked already? No. Solo was very selective about the chats that he leaked. He only leaked certain things to try to like maximize the damage to me. Despite what he said when he lied on Kiwi Farms, he absolutely did not want this Rose account to be found, now for very obvious reasons. You know, you can see why he didn't want the account to be found. But this is also why me and Jstlk didn't believe initially when Solo was like, oh, well, by the way, she was underage. Because I just figured he's just saying like random shit so they don't go to try to find who this person was. Because he's just trying to cover his own tracks. But yeah, no, the messages that were leaked were fairly selective, we'll say, yeah. Okay, so okay. No. And then on page SB1918, this chat thread is dated December 10th, 2023. And at 1:56 p.m., you respond to Destiny's question. You say, family stuff. Jake says, objection, misstates the evidence. Joan says, and then Destiny states, well, damn, has it all turned out okay? Rose responds, yeah, I'm living away from them now, so it's going better. Destiny responds, do you have any new boyfriend or roommate or anything, or are you just completely on your own? And Rose responds, you will laugh at me, but I'm living with my ex. Was this true? No. No. I've only ever lived with my parents. Okay, so you did not send that message? no. Okay. Joan says, okay, I have to pull something up right now. Do you need a break or a bathroom break or anything? Rose says, no. Joan says, no, you're okay. Just give me 1 second. Joel says, I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. Joan says, let's go off the record then for a minute, 5 minutes. Joel says, sure. Joan says, okay, going off the record. Going off the record at 11 a.m. I don't think it matters. I don't think there's not a record or transcript of this, but basically, why do they keep asking if she sent the message? She already said she's never spoken to you, Destiny, because Joan is like fucked at this point. The deposition this is a catastrophe for them. And Joan is trying to see if she can impeach her character by getting her to lie about something, or to see if she's lied about something, or to see if she can catch her or trip her up, or to see if she maybe doesn't believe her testimony. So she's just running through a ton of stuff. This whole section is basically saying like, well, how could Solo have known this room in your house? Or how could he have known about this family member? And he sent this, how could it be that Destiny and Rose seemed to have this conversation and then you sent a picture after? That wasn't you? Are you sure this wasn't you? Are you sure that wasn't you? That's basically what this whole section is. The way, again, I was flying at this point, but at this point, what I've been told is that the past part of this has been fairly combative, and that like she's like pretty upset, or has been, that this is like and it's, to be fair, this is like a this is a pretty upsetting thing to be a part of. But yeah, keep in mind too that she's been dragged here by Jstlk's community, Callum, by basically harassing her, implicitly threatening her, and then hooking her up with Joan to force her to sit for this deposition. So yeah, all for a thing that's out of date range and wasn't even relevant to this case, by the way. But remember, when you're a spoiled white woman, or you're a pair of spoiled white women, the scariest thing for Lauren and Pxie, you don't give a fuck about anybody else. You'll set the world on fire just to keep yourself warm. Wait, Destiny, did Doe subpoena her? Yes. She responded to Pxie's subpoena for this. Yes. Why are Destiny's former friends not speaking out about this? Because it's about a white woman, and men are cowards when it comes to white women, so. We're back on the record at 11:07 a.m. Joan. So, okay, Rose. Wait. Right? Yes. So, Rose, in a document that was marked SB 2392, I don't have it here, it's on my laptop, but it was produced by defendant and marked. Why didn't you bring it? Prepare for your depositions. What the fuck are you doing with your fucking time if you can't even prepare for your fucking deposition? I think this is the only fucking one they've done so far. Hire somebody, or get some work, or put some work in, or do some shit to actually get your shit in a row. What the fuck? You even had a break. What are you doing? It's so bullshit. So Jake says, yeah, I'm going to object to the use of an exhibit which has not been provided to counsel for defendant. Joan says, yes, and you did say that you have all the defendant's document production, so this doesn't matter. You should bring these documents that you're presenting to be marked as an exhibit for, like, people aren't going to bring all of the discovery to every single fucking deposition, whatever, but who cares? Joan, at any rate, on this document, Jake stops and says, are you going to provide the document to the witness? Joan says, your objection is noted. Joan says, on this document that was produced by the defendant, he is communicating. Jake says, objection. Joan says, with somebody. Jake says, hearsay, lacks foundation. Joan says, and on November 29th, 2024, he states, referring to Rose, that he had decent length phone calls with this person multiple times about both of our personal things, never had a problem, issue, fight over literally anything ever. Rose says, I didn't do that. Jake says, same objections. The purported document that plaintiff's counsel is relying on is not in front of the witness. She cannot see the document, so I would object to its use. Joan says, Mr. Camara, your objection is noted. Joan says, wait, fuck, where's my mouse? Oh, yeah, okay, just her name. Rose, so Destiny is saying that he spoke with you multiple times. Jake says, objection. Joan says, hours-long conversations. Jake says, lacks foundation. Joan says, does this trigger your memory that maybe you did speak to him on the phone? When? It does not say when, but it must have been, Jake says, objection, calls for speculation. Joan, prior to November 29th, 2024, when he stated this. Jake says, same objections, misstates the evidence. Rose says, I don't remember calling him ever. Joan says, is it possible that you did speak with him and you just don't remember? Jake says, objection. She says, I don't know. Jake says, asked and answered. Rose says, Ben did not let me onto his accounts because he was talking to other women too. He didn't want me on his account. He didn't trust me with anything like that. I don't remember talking to him ever verbally. Joan says, but you did state that Ben directed you to, and this is probably creating some form of media. Yes. Correct? And she said, and Rose says, yeah. And Joan says, did he ever direct you to speak to the defendant? Rose says, I don't remember that happening. Joan says, you don't remember that. Okay, so this 300-page or more chat thread that was on Discord between Rose and Destiny, and I remind you that you are under oath, you didn't send any of these messages? No. Not one? No. Okay. The next thing is basically, are you aware that, like, do you know that media is some kind of exchange is happening, basically? Jake says, objection, leading, and then Joan is basically asking about this. And then I think Rose is basically understanding, we'll say what she's saying, yeah. And then Joan says, okay, I think I'm just about to wrap up. So I just need about 5 minutes, and then I wanted to ask you, do you have an idea of your timing in terms of your questioning? Jake says, this is Joan's questions to my counsel. I can let you know after I speak with Joel for a few minutes off the record. Joan says, okay, so let's just take a 10-minute recess, and I will hopefully be wrapping up after that. Does that sound okay? Rose says, yes. Going off the record at 11:12 a.m. They come back 15 minutes later, 11:27 a.m. The videographer, we're back on the record at 11:27 a.m. Okay, by Joan. Okay, Rose, I remind you that you are still under oath, and now that we are back on the record, this is basically asking about other types of like personally identifying pictures that she took, asking if like she had sent these pictures to the solo guy, and then Rose is basically saying yes, and Joan is saying, okay, thank you. And that would have been prior to your breakup, correct? And Rose says yes. And Joan says, and the Rose Discord account, which you stated that Ben had created, that would have been with the username, and then it's a username that was already referred to in this depo. I don't know why it's censored. Yeah. Yes. And what was Ben's email address at the time? I don't think I had it. You never had it? What about his phone number? I didn't have it. Do you have any way of obtaining that information? He never gave it to me. Okay. Joan says, okay, I have no further questions at this time. Cross-examination. So this is my lawyer, Jake. Okay. Hi, Miss Rose. My name is Jake Camara. I represent Destiny in this action. Thank you for coming today. I'm very sorry that you've been dragged into this. It seems like unnecessarily. I want you to know that we're not here to get you in trouble. You're not in trouble. We're just trying to find out the truth. So all I need to know is your true and correct answers to the best of your ability. So just to be clear, based on your prior testimony, you've never spoken to Destiny ever, correct? No. You've never... Objection. Her testimony was she did not remember. Did you... have you ever corresponded electronically with Destiny ever? I don't remember. I never messaged him, and I don't remember ever calling him. Okay, and you never spoke with Destiny on Discord ever, correct? Not that I can remember. No, on call. Destiny never sent you any explicit material, did he? No, never. Not me personally. And he never sent you explicit material depicting the plaintiff in this case, certainly, correct? No. Do you even know who the plaintiff in this case is? No. Do you know who Pxie is? No. Have you ever seen the video of Pxie? No. So essentially, defendant Bonnell was catfished by your boyfriend, correct? Yes. What is your boyfriend at the time, Ben? What is his real name? I don't know. Ben is what he told me his name was. And he is solo? Ben is solo, correct? That's what he went by online. Yeah, solo leveling. But Joan says solo. I didn't hear that last part. Rose says leveling. John says solo leveling. Rose says, that's all I knew him from, so I'm assuming the solo guy that you guys are talking about would be him. Joan says, and how do you spell solo leveling? Sorry, I know I just want to clarify for the record. Joel says, that's okay. Or Jake says, that's okay. Rose says leveling, Leveling. This is basically asking about, we'll say, bad behavior towards Rose, and her saying that, yes, this did occur. And he said, and then my attorney says, and he didn't care, referring to Solo. No. I'm sorry you had to go through that, and I'm sorry that he put you in this position. I really am. No child should have to go through that. Do you have any way of contacting Ben at this time? No. Do you have any idea where he lives, aside from the fact that you believe he lives in Oxford in the United Kingdom? No. Okay, I just wanted to show you a couple things based on what you have testified to previously. It's already been marked as an exhibit. It's Bates labeled AH005. Joan says, yeah, it's in that set. Jake says, here, I can give you a copy. Joan says, I have it. Jake says, now, this correspondence is on Twitter, correct? Rose says, yeah. Jake says, do you know which Twitter account Stephen is corresponding with in this screenshot? The Rose is one. Rose is coming? Yes. And that, again, was not you? No. And in this message, Stephen messaged that the person he believes he's talking to is 18 years old, right? You see that? Yeah. Okay, so you're aware that Ben, or Solo, was holding himself out as being above over 18 years old? Yeah. Are you aware of that? Okay. And just also, so we're clear, was it Ben who reached out to Destiny first? I think so. I want to show you one exhibit we'll mark as the next in order. It's SB001639. This will be marked as Exhibit 3. Oh, this is basically saying Rose Exhibit number 3. This will be marked as Exhibit 3 by Mr. Camara. On the top of the page, there's a message from Destiny, and it says, yeah, for sure, holy damn, I'm super lucky you decided to message me. Does that for you affirm that Solo was the first person to contact Destiny and not the other way around? Yeah. All right, I would like to mark this next exhibit as Exhibit 4. Do you want to look at the ones I'm marking? It's okay. And then Jake says, so this is a screenshot of the Roses Coming Twitter account. This is the Twitter account we've been referring to, correct? Yeah. All right. And you'll see in the bio that it... basically that we'll say that the account was impersonating her and was engaged in what we would now say is obviously, well, and at that point in time, we'll say would have been illegal behavior. We'll say that this account was doing not good things. Did you ever consider going to the police about this guy, Ben Solo? She says, I was scared. He said, that's understandable. If you go to the last page, there's a photo that Solo posted, again, impersonating you. Is that a photograph of you? Yep. Okay, and again, there in the bio, it says 18, correct? Illuminator, thank you for the gifted subs and kick chat. Yes. Okay, I'll mark this next one as Exhibit 5. How fucked are they overclaiming these to PI to find Rose? I don't know. We would have to file a motion calling it into question or something. I don't know how much it matters, but... the difference in questioning quality between these two lawyers is staggering. Yeah, you should have seen our hearing. The thing is that Joan is just not... just never mind. There's another screenshot from that same Twitter account with a tweet dated April 3rd, 2022. Again, if you look at the bio, it says that Solo is holding himself out as 18 years old, pretending to be you, correct? Yeah. But it also says, tip me £2 or $3 with a $sign after the 3. Did you see that? Yeah. Basically for bad material. Now, do you believe he put £2 because he was located in the UK, as you believe? Yeah. And then basically he was selling stuff on the internet. And he was, we'll just say, basically keeping, we'll say profiting from it, I guess. Yeah. And then at some point, regardless of her wanting to do this, it continued. Yeah, we'll say that. Yeah, her final answer to that is basically yes. Joan says, I'm going to object as to relevance to this case. She's an actual subhuman piece of shit. Jake says, did he ever threaten you? Yeah, now she doesn't like the relevance at all. Why did she put it in a fucking footnote that they fought against changing? Did he ever threaten you? Yeah. What did he say to you, if you remember? The first time he started threatening me, he threatened to kill himself. And then once it got worse, he said that he'd kill my family and he would come and kidnap me and use me as a sex slave. I'm very sorry to hear that. Were you aware that Ben Solo was also using a Cash App account with the username $Rose is coming? No, I didn't know he had Cash App. Does the name George Scorer mean anything to you? No. Basically, that this name was connected to a Cash App related to her material, we'll say. This is, yeah. Would it surprise you if these things were linked? And she says, no. And then the question, okay, again, you've never met Destiny, correct? And then she says, no. And then she basically provides a little bit more information about, we'll just say, creating media about this answer up here. And then my lawyer says, okay, so you don't know who Callum is? No, I thought they were friends with Pxie. Joel says, sorry. And then he's just asking for clarification about what's in here, basically. But okay. Destiny, when she said Solo was talking with multiple girls earlier in the depot, is the implication that he profited in similar ways of other girls too? I don't know. Considering that he went and found this girl on an app that was made explicitly for underage children, I'll leave that for you to figure out. You mentioned previously in your testimony that you don't know who Callum is, but that you had responded to his emails that he sent you. Correct? Yeah. I don't see any of your responses in your production. Oh, do you have what you responded? Yeah, I don't really know how to forward the email, so I didn't know if it got all the emails forwarded to her or not. Okay, but you're in possession of those. Yeah. And your correspondence with Callum in its entirety? Yeah. Okay, sorry, just one moment. Have you spoken to plaintiff's counsel at all prior to today, meaning Miss Peters or any of the other lawyers who represent the plaintiff in this case? I haven't, no. I guess I sent her emails of the stuff that she requested, but she talked to my mom because when she emailed me, I thought I didn't know if she was who she said she was because Callum said that he was going to pass my information along to her. To who? To Joan. Okay, and so you said your mom spoke to Miss Peters? To Joan? Yeah. Were you present for that phone call? No. Okay. So you don't know what Miss Peters and your mom spoke about specifically? I think my mom just asked, Joan says, objection, hearsay. Rose says, my mom just asked, why I have to be involved in it. And I was confused because the subpoena I got didn't have her name on it. And so she asked her, why isn't your name on it if you're the one, if she's trying to email me? And just how long this would be and stuff like that. And Jake says, so when you were shown these Discord chats between Rose and Destiny today, you have never seen them before in your life? Is that correct? She says, I saw the one that was like this one. And then I guess she's pointing at one because I saw it. Oh, that's not Discord. Jake says it's not Discord. She said, Discord, not those ones specifically, no. But had you seen the one that you produced? But you had seen the one that you produced, correct? Yeah. And that is AH007 in your production. It's not there. Joel says, counsel, do you have a copy of AH007? Joan says, oh, we can provide the witness. This one is missing a copy. Sure, let me find it. It's in her copy. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, do you see it? Rose, you should have it. Rose says, yeah. Jake says, you got it. Okay. So this one you were aware of. You've seen before. Is that what you were saying? Yeah, it was posted on Twitter. Okay. Basically, you've seen this posted on Twitter. Yeah. Okay, and you mentioned before that it's in European date format, right? Yeah, it says 30/07/2022. Yeah, and that makes sense to you, right? Because Solo was located in the United Kingdom. Yeah. So everything that was leaked would have had timestamps in a European format, right? Yeah. Okay. Jake says, anything else, Joel? Joel says, no. Jake says, I have no further questions. Thank you. Joan says, all right. I have a few follow-up questions, Rose. Sorry, it will just take a couple of minutes. So Joan steps up again. Now, you said that you had not, in response to questions just now regarding whether you had ever seen these Discord messages. Didn't Ben send you screenshots of these messages from time to time? Rose says, some of them, but not those. None of the Discord messages? What screenshots? No, not the ones that you had me look at. Oh, I see. I didn't see those. But other Discord messages? Yeah. Between Destiny and Rose? Yeah. Okay. Basically asking, like, have you created media for the Solo guy? Jake says, objection, leading by, and then Rose basically says, oh my God. Oh, fuck. No, this is like the most scumbag shit. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to think of a way I can summarize this. We're going to the bottom of 83. We're on 81. Hold on. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically, it's more. Joan is basically trying to push really hard on the consistency thing, and she's like grilling the fuck out of her on like, are you sure about this? Are you sure about that? Really? Are you really sure? It's basically just this, a lot of this. I would say, yeah. Basically, and some pretty. One of these exchanges is just really wild in terms of her accusing her of we'll say basically lying. Fuck. Yeah, that's all I can say. I don't think I can. Oh my God, yeah. Maybe at some point in the future. It's a unhinged accusation, but you have the general gist. I mean, you've seen the rest of this, so. Okay, I have no further questions. Jake says just a follow up. Why does that stuff get redacted? Anything that has to do with like sexually explicit stuff, or maybe like humiliating stuff or embarrassing stuff that could be used to attack or retaliate against people or whatever. I think all of it gets censored. So, but she holds to her original claims. Destiny. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, yeah, and it becomes, I'll say, more combative, but yeah. Okay, I have no further questions. And then Jake says just a couple follow-ups. Do you know if Solo goes by any other aliases online? Yeah, ELO Hero 5. I think that's all that I know of. Is that a Discord or Twitter? That was his old Snapchat that I knew him from. Did Solo ever tell you why he was catfishing Destiny? I don't know if he said specifically. I think it's just because he liked his content, like his streams and stuff. And Ben was bisexual, so I don't know if he would derive sexual pleasure from it or not. And Solo was a grown adult at this time, right? In April of 2022. Yeah. How old was he? Do you know? 21 or 22. Okay. But I don't know if he was older or not. That's just what he told me. Jake says, I have no further questions. Joan says, thank you, Rose, for being here today and giving us your testimony. We appreciate it. So we're going to go off the record. And that was that, yeah. The hold on one sec. Jesus. I don't know if it's worth going through or not, but the Coben fucking Jstlk server is crazy right now. Holy shit. Now Wicked Supreme is a big well, maybe she's lying about everything. I don't know if we believe. Maybe we don't believe all women now. At this point, you know who Solo is correct. There's no way he's bisexual, right? No, he's not that person. You annihilated Weasel Supreme's brain. Yeah, she's just, that guy's on full fucking coat mode. Jesus. Oh, I think a lot of people in Jstlk server are accusing her of lying now. Jesus. Also, I say this not to cast doubt, but just to point out the lack of certainty we should have, which I recognize is functionally the same thing. 1. Parts of the testimony are still redacted, and things said in those sections could change the analysis of any other detail present. Keep in mind that of all of this court case, of everything I've talked about that's been under seal and come out of seal, I haven't lied about a single fucking thing, ever. Number 1. Number 2, as time has gone on and more stuff has been made public, and more discovery and motions and everything else are filed, every single thing I've said has been come out as being true in these court documents, and basically every single thing the other side has said has been a fucking lie, or has been heavily exaggerated, or I don't know. And 2, there is nothing backing up Rose's statements beyond the standard level of trustworthiness we ascribe to witnesses who are talking about things that can get them into trouble. But we would have no reason to doubt Pxie's testimony when she's literally, we have already seen her lying about so much stuff related to this, about her sleeping with people, sending videos to people, and lying about it to others. And the fact that she stands to gain, originally 1 million was her ask that Lauren probably told her to ask for, and then 15 million was what she sued me for. Although I can never prove that Lauren asked her for that, because Lauren and Pxie are both conspiring to use Signal together, which Lauren also admitted in the deposition. They've been using Signal together intentionally to delete all their messages from the start of this court case. So I'll never see what they're talking about. But yeah, good times. Oh, and he's still so excited. Save was so excited to be. Also off topic, but she confirms here that she was still reading my emails after she stopped responding. Good one. Shouldn't their conspiring cause them issues? Well, they might, maybe, I don't know, it depends on how many more sanctions we're allowed to file for, but we're still waiting for so many rulings right now. From an evidentiary standpoint, like, their case is cooked in so many different ways. Surely Jane Doe is knowingly conspiring with Lauren, right? Why the fuck would she use Signal? Yes, they are knowingly conspiring. I guess I can reveal this at this point. It's kind of funny now that we've done our depo and everything. So you remember that Alex Jones case where he's on the stand and the opposing counsel reveals that he got a whole bunch of text messages that Alex Jones had no idea about? That exact same thing happened with Lauren. She had no fucking idea how much fucking random shit she sent me. And that's why I know about crimes that she's committed and ways that she's tried to basically destroy this court case. And she had no fucking idea walking into her deposition how much shit she'd turned over because she's fucking retarded. That's why I'm so irritated about how much of a joke all of this is to all of the fucking parties involved. And the fact that Pxie can sit there as the spineless little fake care about women, sexual abuse cuck she is, and watched like this actual girl who by the end of this deposition was basically bawling and screaming at the other side, by the way. The fact that Pxie could just sit there like giggling along and laughing, and when we send them an email, be like, hey, can you like correct this footnote in the thing? And they're like, no, we're not correcting anything because all of it is true. And it's like, well, not really, right? It's not. And they're like, no, file sanctions against everyone. It's like, okay, well, we file sanctions. Like, well, now we're filing, like, it's just such a fucking joke. Like, she's such a disgusting vermin fuck. I can't imagine this stupid cunt sitting in her like law school classes like, oh, today we're learning about civil procedure. Oh, these are all the rules that I broke all the time because it was so much fun. And she's doing it all on her parents' dime. Her family is fucking rich. I didn't know this prior to the court case, but I found this out semi-recently. Her family is fucking loaded. So her whole fucking GoFundMe was just a scam to defame me. But that's why she did her little GoFundMe. She collected $50K to go have fuck off money while she goes to law school and whatever. And it's just fucking annoying. It's just it's like all a big game joke to all of these fucking people. And then every other content creator in the space is too much of a cowardly fucking cuck to say anything against a white woman. But I get it. It's all good. What are you gonna do? What angers me most is she cosplayed being poor. She cosplayed everything. She cosplayed being poor. She cosplayed not fucking streamers. She cosplayed basically being a virgin. That was probably the most embarrassing part to her parents. Her parents probably thought that unironically. Whatever. How did you know Solo's real name before the KF leaks? I had a pretty good inkling. I don't remember what we dug through for that. But the thing is that I can't file another court case because this court case is so fucking DOA. This court case was dead on arrival and it's such a waste of time. But anything that I do publicly or file publicly or pursue, this vicious cunt is going to try to drag into this case. So I don't want them anywhere near it. I don't want anything involved with her. If I file a suit against Solo, which I still want to do, and I bring in other plaintiffs, she's going to have no fucking part in that. She can go pursue that on her mommy and daddy's dime on her own fucking time. And I don't want anything that I work on to get discovered because they're incompetent. They don't know how to deal with evidence. They don't know how to do any redactions. They don't know how to seal any testimony. They don't know how to find witnesses that aren't fucking lying. They don't know how to investigate. They don't know how to file shit properly with the fucking court. I don't want them anywhere near fucking up anything having to do with an actual case. So that's, yeah. But I can't, one is a financial thing and a psychological thing, but then two is I just can't have her like desperately clawing for her because she's a no-life loser fuck who's just sitting online refreshing threads to try to find out like, oh, what can I send to Joan and I'm going to put in my court case and blah, blah, blah. Wait, so she never even needed you to go through law school? No! Her parents are paying for it! Her family's rich! How do you think she's going to law school right now? She has 3 degrees! She's a forever student! No, she doesn't need any fucking money. Her family's rich. And for all the fucking retards who are like, oh, you should have just settled with her opener to me was $15 million! What are we negotiating from there? I wouldn't even pay out 1% of that. 1% of 15 million is 150K, which is the statutory cap on what she would win in court. This is retarded. That's not an opening offer. That's some shit you say when you're a retard who doesn't know how business negotiations work. If you've ever done sales or if you've ever done business to business or any kind of negotiation, if you open with an offer that's 100x higher than a market rate, they're not even going to respond to your email. It's fucking retarded. Oh shit, my labor is only worth, this project is like a $10,000 is what we normally bid on it. I'm going to go ahead and send them a $20 bid on that project and we'll negotiate up from there. No, they would just laugh. They wouldn't even respond. Like this was never going to be settled or never going to be negotiated, especially if there was ever a world where this could have been settled. It would have been a world, it couldn't have happened after she wrote that delusional fucking Substack. And I say she wrote it, Lauren probably wrote it. It was after Lauren wrote that Substack for it that she published. Because so much of it, even outside of what she's accused me of, so much of it is delusional. She lies about her age. We were 21 when we met. For some reason, Lauren wrote 19 for her. She writes it like, I think he wanted this material to leak on his own, and he was using this. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, you crazy fucking insane person? Anyway. She also hides the suicide context. Her extortion? Yeah, she doesn't bring that up ever too. Yeah. Would you ever go on a live stream with either H3 or Willie after to lay into them? No, they're both retarded. Because it'll just come to screaming at like basically. So at one point in time, did you receive a video or image ever of an underage person? Did this ever happen? So you're fighting, or it'll, because the H3 cope community of dipshits has migrated to like, well, even if she was 18 or 19, that's still creepy as fuck. So he's basically a pedophile. And it's like, okay, whatever. I'm good on that one, Chief. Could you give a quick rundown of who the solo guy is again? Some fucking weirdo loser in the UK, I guess. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Bonger's gonna bong. I need a bong thing. Is there any justice against them at all at the end of this? Do they get any comeuppance? I mean, like, it's really hard to get legal fees back, so I doubt that'll happen. I mean, I'll ask, I guess, my lawyers by the end if they feel like I have a countersuit against either of them, or if, I mean, how many more sanctions we can push for. But, I mean, I want to, like I said, I want to file, I feel like I have enough, at least, I know I have enough to file a complaint against Lauren for her, in the bar to see if I can get her disbarred. And then for Pxie, whenever she tries to do character and fitness, if she gets through law school, I'll find out where the fuck that is and I'll write in about that shit. But it's just so gross to me that like in all of her white woman fragility, because she has nothing else in life besides this fucking charade of bullshit that she's on against me, that Pxie's entire case is built on victimizing other people. One is Rose, and she's known this now for months. And then two is Abby, who is, my guess is traumatic brain injury after her car accident, right? Who's, by the way, nowhere to be found, no depositions of her, no evidence from her, no production of any more documents, just one message that they got. One message that they got from Abby the night before our evidentiary hearing to see if this case could even survive is the only reason she's even on this case. And then after that, gone into the wind. Like it's just crazy. But do you think this fucked over any chance of having Rose cooperate when you go after Solo? I don't know. That's a whole other, that's an off-stream thing that I have to figure out. Because it's also hard too, because you don't want to, it's going after people that are involved in stuff like this. You don't want to re-victimize the other people that are involved. Now, obviously, Jstlk's Discord, but none of those people give a fuck. Wicked Supreme, the rapist, and all these people, none of these people give a fuck about any of the other people involved. They all thought that Solo was epic and based, and still probably do. So they're just whatever on it. But like technically, you don't want to like it's a whatever stuff these people have been through. You don't want to re-trigger them or re-traumatize them just to go after somebody in a court case or whatever. For criminal stuff, there maybe is a stronger argument, but. When did this deposition occur? I think August 23rd. Is Abby a real person? Yes. She was, I don't know if you'd say Darius's ex. She was like an old friend of mine, but she got in apparently a bad car accident, and now she's made like a bunch of Facebook accounts and YouTube accounts and like multiple GoFundMe. Like her shit is fucked. But also, I guess for more context too, in the leaked messages between her and Darius, she makes it sound like she was given an offer or something from Pxie's lawyers or from Pxie or Lauren themselves to ask her to cooperate, and that she was scared because she didn't know her stuff was going to get leaked because they fucked up all their sealings of her name. But she made it seem like she didn't really want to be involved, was the impression that I got reading the logs. Now, Jstlk and everybody else says that I was actually mind-fucking Abby behind the scenes on all this bullshit. There's never been a substantiation of literally any claim like this ever. It's all just stuff that they've invented in order to make their lives. She said that shit on stream too? Yeah. Like, it's so crazy that this old fucking retard was literally saying that I have like addiction, sex issues, and I need to be in a fucking prison or whatever bullshit. I think this is savisexual too. Also off topic, but she, confirms that she was still reading my emails after she stopped responding. And then Supreme says, be careful about making positive claims about things for which there isn't hard evidence. And then Saba says, she references an email I sent to her after her last response. And then Wicked Supreme says, no, I mean in general. Saba says, oh, sure. And then Wicked says, I'm not referring to your emails at all. Like the idea that anyone has Solo's information remains to be seen. Who he is or what he's done, other than what he's publicly done. Now he's like the ultimate fucking skeptic on everything. But of course, Pxie and everybody else, anybody that has anything against me, their claims are always to be believed, despite the fact that none of them can ever substantiate it. None of it ever materializes. It's all just like stories and narratives and Jesus. I don't know, man. Oh, substance. Frequent Pisco chatter. Oh, it seems in the newly unsealed transcript of Rose's deposition, Rose says it was Destiny who publicized her personal identifying information, and she described it as him doxing her. Nice. That was his takeaway from this. Good one. Was Cherry not a part of this too? No, Cherry never wanted to be involved in this case. Neither did Melina, but Pxie kept roping them in and putting them in multiple filings, despite Cherry tweeting publicly, begging her to stop doing it. But Pxie doesn't give a fuck about anybody but herself and her own family's money, or her own, innocent reputation on the internet or whatever. Melina obviously didn't want to be fucking involved. And the most disgusting part was Pxie was literally in the court filings. I don't know if she gets off to this or what, but she was literally listing websites with search terms on where you can go and find my jerk-off leak material. Because again, and this is a statement I said at the very beginning, she never gave a fuck about any of her shit leaking. At some point, I'll publish probably most of the conversations I had with Pxie post everything. In the 3 or 4 weeks, I don't think I published all these, but is it 2 or 3 weeks? I think it may be 2 or 3 weeks. In the weeks between the leaks happening and then Lauren digging her fangs into Pxie by December 11th, there was no conversation that me and Pxie had about why did you send these? You didn't have consent to send me these. Like, I can't believe blah, blah. That was never even a thing. But then on December 11th, out of nowhere, the same day that Lauren De Laguna messages me and says, you're so evil, Pxie starts her extortion racket. Oh, I think I'm going to kill myself. But I'm not going to do it right now. And so maybe you can make things right. But I'm going to kill myself if you don't. And it's like, the fuck? Fuck you, dude. But then do it, bro. Get the fuck out of here. This stupid fucking shit. Did the solo guy ever meet Rose in person? To my understanding, no. Do you think Pxie's lawyer can or should be held accountable? I don't know what the standards are for fucking anything. In my mind, you would be disbarred for shit like this. But I mean, other lawyers have emailed me and told me there's a lot of retarded shit that goes on in court. Keep in mind that we've been spoiled. It's kind of like imagine watching the NFL for your entire life, and then you become a coach for a 4th or 5th grade football team, and you're screaming at these guys because they can't kick 50-yard field goals or whatever. I don't know what the normal, or they don't have they can't punt the ball 20 yards, or I don't know what a long snapper, and it's okay, well, it's a totally different standard. So, we read Supreme Court cases. So these are the best of the world that are arguing in front of the Supreme Court when it comes to matters of law. Who the fuck knows? I'm sure legal shit can get ultra fucking retarded. And we're not even at litigant pro se stuff where people are just filing their own shit who aren't even lawyers, so. I don't know why these guys have to keep making up their own fanfic. Well, I guess they just, because nothing I say can be true. Way to drop the ball, Joan. Unless it was in the redacted portions. Objection, speculation, lacking foundation. But I see an easy explanation is that she sent him a selfie of herself wearing a DGG shirt because she knew Solo was a fan of Destiny. Same with the image of the guy at the college. Supreme says, these are plausible, but did she buy the shirt herself? It isn't stated as far as I can see. The guy ordered her shit to wear and then to have her take pictures of it to forward to me. But you don't have to believe me, I guess, whatever. If her family is loaded, why are her parents so bad? Because you can't buy intelligence. And because, actually, that's not true. The reason why, I'm sure Pxie could have had a really good lawyer. The reason why is because no good lawyer would have taken Pxie's case. That's why, and it was leaked from messages with Aaron, which I also don't have any copies of, by the way, and I'm never fucking getting them, ever. But that's fine, whatever. Who the fuck cares? It's all a big joke at the end of the day, right? The first two law firms that Pxie went to told her she had no case. If she wanted to sue somebody, she should sue the solo guy, because that would be a slam dunk case, which it would be. It would have been an unbelievably insane case. But instead, you've got the bimbo cunt Stacia and Jstlk server that posts about this shit all day because she has nothing else going on in her life. You've got Pxie, who's frolicking off to law school and besties with Lauren De Laguna, who rampages through life to life to life. And then, yeah, everything is just completely... It's just a joke and no one gives a fuck about any of this shit, so whatever. So are you sure that the solo guy is actually a guy? Do you know who he is and what he looks like, etc.? All of this is happening because of the solo character leaking your text, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know who this is, yeah. Can you link the solo George guy to merch sales? Probably not at this point. My guess is those records don't exist. But I don't know if that would even matter at this point. I feel like I have enough other stuff. Initially, when I tried to, it was kind of an informal conversation between my law firm in New York with the merch company that I sold that merch with. But the problem is that merch company didn't exist anymore. So we would have needed to basically subpoena like older records from like the new company. It was a kind of a convoluted thing, and we talked to them, they wouldn't really give it over to us legally or willingly because it was like payment info or whatever. So we would have had to actually have filed our case and done the subpoena, but we couldn't get that far because Pxie was so excited to do her extortion racket against me with Lauren riding her fucking ass on it. What is the reason you aren't doxing the ever-living shit out of Solo? Would it hurt a future case? Well, I mean, if you want the truth, Solo's, I'm pretty sure he already got doxed on Kiwi Friends. The reason why I don't want to dox Solo is because you don't get anything out of it. It doesn't do anything. All these fucking retards on the internet that cry about doxing and all this bullshit, it doesn't fucking matter. My shit, you can go search 1504 on Twitter and you can see my address posted 50 million fucking times, and I'm a famous person that people want to murder and nothing happens. So this idea that people are so afraid of doxing or so scared of doxing, blah, blah, is bullshit. It doesn't do anything. Nothing's going to happen to the guy getting doxed. Nothing's going to happen to the guy if you call the fucking FBI. People can do it now if they want, or they've been doing it before. They've been doing it against me. You can do and file all this shit and do everything. But like, if you really want to go after somebody, you really want to get somebody, the best way for the Solo guy would have been to build a big civil case and then to hand over anything that comes out of that case to law enforcement. That would have been the best way, because then you've done all the hard legwork and you've put all the pieces together yourself and you've basically finished like 80% of the investigatory pathway on it. But yeah. But hey, it's all just a meme at the end of the day. Who cares? Rape and pedophilia, I guess, are super based and all that, so whatever. The breakup has been confirmed. What? Oh, Jstlk? Yeah, Jstlk and Cherry broke up a while ago. They were yo-yoing for a while. Apparently he kept a bunch of her shit and she was asking for it back and he didn't return her, but I don't know. Can Doe just do a state case where Cardi doesn't break jurisdiction when/if this is dismissed at a federal level? She could refile a state case against me with the other 3 underlying claims, but I don't know, maybe at this point, I don't even know. With how this court case is going, I feel like I could get that on a motion to dismiss. I don't even know what they could put in as evidence for any of that. So I haven't been able to pay full attention, but the Solo guy basically found this girl on an underage site and dated her long enough to be able to assume her identity to frame you for talking to a minor. Kind of, but he did a lot more than that. Destiny post hoc, what do you think the justifications for even going through with this case is to begin with? I feel like someone has to be uniquely evil through all this to have missed this fucking hard. But I think that it'll be good, especially for an eventual manifesto, to kind of discern where the majority of that misdirection and coercion came from. Lauren is evil, I think. Lauren De Laguna she's like a lav tier, but with she's more intelligently obsessive. I didn't realize this until my lawsuit especially, but after I shut her down when she was so pathetically and desperately trying to get me to date her, after I broke up with Melina, and then 3 days later she decides, or a week later, or whatever, she's like, oh, actually, I found out I hate you, and then started doing this in the background. I have a lot more stuff on Lauren. I'll get to that after, but Lauren is probably the main driver of all of this. Pxie's problem is she's just a weak individual with very little personal autonomy or anything. She's just not a very strong or intelligent person, and it's very easy to get kind of like led around on a leash by people with stronger personalities around her. And Lauren De Laguna has definitely sunk her teeth like as deeply into Pxie as she possibly can. Lauren has also a pretty strong personality though too. So even if Pxie wasn't a spineless fuck, it's possible she still could have been manipulated by her. I'm sure Pxie probably believed it in the beginning. I'm sure Pxie believed there were 15 women and all the Kiwi Farms accounts, whatever, that were messaging her probably were being truthful. And maybe she did think she had a case that maybe she could win, but at this point, she must know that it's bullshit. But Pxie's probably lied to herself in her mind and convinced herself that, well, even if all of these are lies, like, you know, Steven has still hurt me in some way and he should have to pay for that. So this is still technically justice. And it's, you know, even if it's not 100% correct, you know, like Ethan's lawsuits, like this is still the only way I can get justice because I'm so embarrassed that people found out that I like to fuck streamers now and I'm not an innocent little virgin. And so this is, I think it's actually worthwhile. That's probably something like that. She has to have this story that she tells herself at this point. Did you see the DGG account that mentioned having that handle Rose of the Garden in 2019? Or is this a Nothing Burger? Who, the Dry Beam guy? It's probably him. That'd be my guess. But like I said, I'm like 99% sure I know who this person is at this point. But it's not much I can do yet about it. This was a failed money transfer operation. She wanted to date you and then sue you like she did with other men. And when you shut her down, she tried to use Doe as a proxy. For Lauren, no. Lauren's family is also rich as fuck. She posts pictures of them. They travel to like islands that you can only get on if your family is like a 9-figure net worth or whatever. Like I'm pretty sure Lauren's family is loaded as fuck too. Please don't ban me for asking this, but does this case not have a special master for this case? Why would I ban you for asking that? I don't even know what that means. Well, and by no coincidence, Lauren is also on her 3rd career, isn't she? 3rd or 4th or something. Yeah, I don't know. Like she's been fired from previous firms or what? That and everything else. People like Pxie, I think, and Lauren, there's like this middle class, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like when you're from a rich family and you're not like especially talented, I guess, you kind of like just cosplay different lifestyles to see what you like or enjoy. And so you just like bounce from thing to thing and you kind of see if you enjoy it or like it. And then, yeah. If we can even tell the case is fake, why can't the courts? If I didn't know better, I'd think this is staged at Destiny. That I'm staging things, or the court? I've read all my shit. I mean, you can go. There's a reason why one side fights to conceal everything, and I'm fighting to have everything opened. Number one. Number two, because everybody deserves to have their day in court, and then you have to go through the process. So, I mean, we're waiting on our motion to dismiss. If that doesn't get approved, then we do this motion for summary judgment, which I imagine should go through. If that doesn't, I don't know what. I have no idea why they would. I don't know what they would possibly do for trial in this case. It would just be just an unbelievable... I just have no idea. Jesus. The person, if it is the person that we all think he is a prolific catfish. So I'd assume he was lying to Rose as well. Well, according to her, he is. I'm holding doubt on all testimony. What's the current timeline? Did things get extended? No, we're waiting. We're waiting on rulings for it. Technically, Discovery closed about a month ago, but maybe it'll be reopened. Who knows? Who knows? Uh-oh. DSP clip. Who's... Wait, what game is this? Oh.
Unreal. Unfucking real. All those bullets magically miss from point blank range.
Not point blank range.
Unreal. Unfucking real. All those bullets magically miss from point blank range.
At least you found out the type of people, all of them, because of the situation. Most of them were fake around you most of the time until this happened and their true colors came out. Yeah, maybe, I guess. But... It's possible to go over how Wicked became such an anti-fan, like anything personal. No, it was just hanging out in that Discord server all day breaks people's minds. You just have to be careful where you hang out, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Destiny. Couldn't this part be used to defend your community? Even if you doxed her, nobody from DGG. The only one who did was a Jstlk fan. It doesn't really matter. Like, the problem is you'll never win. There's no good faith conversation to have with these retards. The actual GigaChad answer is that, like, I wanted to dox this person prior to knowing anything about them. Like, from my perspective, this is an account that's leaked 27 explicit videos of me, a whole bunch of chat logs, and tried to extort me for money in order to get on my stream, you know, blackmailing me before leaking more shit. I had every right to know who this person was. I tried to find them off stream. I couldn't do it. I hired a PI to investigate. They couldn't find them. So of course I want to fucking find this person. I have every right to, though. But I want to find this person because I've been severely fucking injured and wronged by this person. But after, the other side just wanted to find them because they were praying to God that it was a minor. They also posted like 50 million more pictures, videos, maps of her city. I'm trying to link different parts of her fucking house or whatever to figure out who it was than I ever did. But, yeah, like, I mean, I think I had every right to find out who this was. The other people just wanted to find out so they could intervene with my court case and fuck with it to see if they could fuck with me. That was all they cared about. Supreme was dating Plaintiff or tried to for a while, yeah. Was trying to date Pxie, kind of, yeah. Although eventually she asked him to leave her the fuck alone, but he wouldn't do it. And he just kept being a creepy weirdo fuck. All right, what is this? Jesus, I have to be careful for my own mental health when I read this shit. Sorry, hold on, one more. Jesus. The thing that always just, I can't understand is the stupidity. It's got to be like, there's got to be something that's like mind-fucking people. Like, it can't just be a raw, I don't understand, I don't know, but hold on, what is this? I see so many DGGers constantly saying that what Seba did was wrong because he was interfering with the case, when all he actually did was inform a witness that a case even existed. Like at Deeds Barb and at Hussein, can you explain why exactly this is morally wrong? And please, without virtue signaling everyone's, like I can't tell if this is bad faith or like fucking retarded. Like really? Like that's how, seriously? Destiny, you should actually agree that Seba person fucked over Rose, but he helped your case. I mean, he did. That's what happened, but that was the opposite of what he wanted to happen. I also didn't email her saying that. I don't know what the fuck. Is this a transcript from my video, I guess? I don't know. And Wicked Stream says, why so much special interest in this server? I wonder. If there's another server where there are lawyers and other legal professionals discussing this case, I'd be happy to go there too. Like they're getting great legal insight when Esports Batman and all these people have been wrong on every single part. These people are legally fucking retarded. Why the fact that they're lawyers, why the fuck would that matter for any of this? Like, look at that. The legal mindset guy completely fucking lied, remember? Because Lauren sucks and fucks her way through all these people. Nick Ricada, who posted all this shit about me online, about, oh, Destiny did this and he's been doing all these things. Yeah, it's because she's literally dick riding in the background in order to get these people on her side for things. And a lot more streamers as well, by the way. But slut shaming when it's people we don't like, I will slut shame. But the person I'm slut shaming here are the guys that fucking fell for it. Especially when it's within your profession. You're going to change as a lawyer. You're going to stake your credibility. Cringe.
Minnesota. That's it. That's all we got. That's all that's going on today. My goodness. And everybody's talking about it all over the place. Jeez. All right. You sure nothing else is happening? Yeah, well, I mean... Sorry, there's nothing else people are talking about. There's another pseudo-debate between Hassan and Asmongold. That's what I saw. Oh, you want to talk about Destiny's court case? Yeah, I don't care about that.
Where's the... who was it? It wasn't Eva... Sasha Gray? Is that the one? Which one? Where is the thing? Link me the clip. Sasha Gray, yeah. Link me the clip.
Asmongold, that's what I saw. Oh, you want to talk about Destiny's court case? Yeah, I don't care about that. Honestly, if you guys want to talk about that, I'm sure Destiny's talking about it. I'm going to talk about this.
I don't want to talk about that anymore.
If you guys want to talk about that, probably will ban you from the chat for today.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that'll be tomorrow or the next day once we have non-fun stuff to cover. Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. Also, just like Joan, these people just switched to full-on victim blaming too, based. Esports Batman, top legal professional in the Jstlk community. Okay?
Any more of this? Oh, I don't want to watch any more of this.
So, we know the videos were shared with Rose, but we don't know what videos, and that she never spoken with him, but was in the loop. So Destiny got played by an e-dating couple. An e-dating couple, right? This is the equivalent to saying something like, oh, Trump got played by Epstein and his young girlfriend. Not exactly the equivalent, but basically, like, what a retarded fuck. These people are so beyond deranged. So Destiny got played by an e-dating couple. Seems like the guy used his relationship with Rose, that he met, by the way, on an underage app for children to make friends with each other that he made a fake account, by the way. Seems like the guy used his relationship with Rose to proxy her in as a third under threats to get Destiny. 95-5 Solo and Rose responsibility here. More like a Tate type situation. This sort of answers the question about the t-shirt picture too. Bruh, so Destiny got catfished by a guy who was abusing his girlfriend. Good day not to be him. And then he protected that guy. Yeah, apparently he knew this dude's name for so long. You don't understand. He didn't have the bandwidth. Okay. That's the new cope that Destiny was protecting him. Yeah, Saba switched to like, well, why don't you publish all his info? Why don't you publish all his info? Because when you're on the internet, you think that like, again, like the doxing, that shit doesn't matter. It's not going to do anything to him. Somebody has to like pursue some shit in order to actually do it. But I don't understand how you don't go insane for real. You know, some of us are just built Cuban. It's my Gusano engine. Why would Rose have any responsibility? Because she was I don't even want to joke about it. It's fucking disgusting. He's in the chat doing it? Wait. Hassan, the guy who decried and hated the idea of being a debater for so long, is so desperate for it that he's typing his chat. No shot, right? That's fucking hilarious.
Have done if you were in her situation and you were the one driving the car?
I would have driven away.
I'm not talking as the
as
opposite.
well, just as she was trying to do. Many people would have done the same. She was clearly trying
I told you already the appropriate way of doing this by the LEO standards.
Drive away.
You have. You've told me multiple times, but you haven't said what you would do. Because you know the answer to that, and it's obvious. You would have gotten out of the car like a normal person, and you would have said, okay, I'm going to comply with the police.
The person
That's
who
what you
has power and responsibility
light.
to de-escalate.
Well, like, what is Hassan's fan base thinking here? Because they were always like, isn't Destiny so fucking pathetic trying to debate these guys? Like, just go away. Nobody like... And like, here's Hassan with his whole stream typing in Asmongold's chat, please. This is Twitch politics right now. While both of these guys also, and I think I've heard both of them say it somewhat recently, I think even Hassan was saying it, right? They're like, Asmongold is just scared to debate Destiny. And Asmongold is like, Hassan's just scared to debate Destiny. And then they're also scared to debate each other. Oh my God.
Is the LEO in this situation?
I would have driven away as well. Oh, he said, oh, you would have driven away as well, just as she was trying to do. Many people would have done the same. She was clearly trying to drive away. The person in power has the responsibility to de-escalate and do the LEO. Listen, guys, anybody in the Assange chat, listen, I'm going to say this.
All right, let's hear it.
Please, guys, do not take this advice. This is such a bad idea. I promise you, Hassan's got a lot of money. He's got tons of money. He can afford this. It's okay.
I can afford being shot in the face? What the fuck are you talking about?
No, again, we've seen this clip again. And there it is. Yes, obviously they hit him. Yeah, let's not even get into that. Please, guys, do not take his advice. If a law enforcement officer tells you to stop the vehicle and to, get out of the car, do not randomly drive away. You will ruin your life. They're going to find you. They'll run your plates. They're going to arrest you.
Well, listen, I did a lot today. Technically, I started streaming at 11. Okay, fuck you guys. What a day. Tomorrow we do the DGG Awards. Arc Raiders? Oh, I need to go for a fucking walk, okay? My brain needs to reset. That's a lot of shit, okay? All right, where are we at? Steak, star, wine, mirror, stripe, garlic, interest, cross, share, cider, double, trousers, crescent, clone, concern, and ringer. I feel like things that you mark things with? There's no way. Things that fight off vampires or warn you about vampires? Really? A stake through the heart, garlic scares them away, or they can't go near it, cross to do the thing, and then their reflections don't show in mirrors? That's a bait? It wasn't even one off? Good one. Okay. Wow. That was a real good one. Okay, a mirror image, clone, a double, a ringer, a duplicate. Oh, wait, no. They have an interest in something. They've got a stake in something. They have a share of it. Or they have a concern. Oh my god. That's only the green one? Whatever. Okay. Cider and wine feel like they go together somehow. I don't know how though. Stripe. Garlic. Trousers. This is a Hail Mary. Do these things get better with age? Like older genes are better? Does cider get better with age? Wine, kind of? Garlic? I don't think that's true. Crescent, star, cross, and stripe. These things look like they go together somehow, though. Oh my god. Obviously. I knew that, of course. How, you know? I obviously knew that. Pressed using a press. I don't even know what the fuck that means. How do you, I don't know what it means to press wine, to press cider, to press garlic. Oh, you push it down to break it, the close, I guess. Common flag symbols? Okay. Okay, 950 or more, then the case gets dismissed tomorrow, okay? Good luck. 960. Fuck! I fucked the last one up. That didn't matter though. I didn't even fuck it up. Whatever. All right, good luck. Wait for tomorrow. Oh, the DG awards. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. Be careful. Stay safe. Representative Cappuccino, Cappuccino, Cappuccino.